Sun's fresh to
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Bodily bathing in now chemical donors, how we do it on the regular with no hocus pocus. Best to step aside when we continue with the sober, staying humble while we glide and also staying laser focused. Aware low vibes are the ones that move slowest. We have to beat them back with a little king of focus. On the hero journey, even if you didn't notice, I observe it all unfolding like the petals from the lotus of spine. And leave the body losing nothing but pure fire. Pure design and the nurses that's real. That's the deal, the appeal away. We can still get high. The mission treatment flies and give you something to feel. So we slap this in your face that you try and chase. But our fumes leave clues that leave rockets down the place, giving you what you need. But no shitty aftertaste, just learn and discern to elevate your inner state. Yeah, ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Sons break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Here's another rising sun, bells dive in. Come on, get up, get up.
I come through and smash your television sets of pieces. Turn up the music, chant a mantra till the spell releases. The transmission ceases, now we can create. We blazing up and raising up into a higher state. We all can relate, we've all been affected. Tricked into praising material with the soul neglected. We came to break the cycle, we came to break the mold. We came to make you aware of the power you behold. The light emanating from one spirit, brighten up the whole collective, no need to be near it. One voice so loud, everybody hears it. Spooky action at a distance, we're connected and they fear it. So buckle up and prepare for the ride. It's suns and shine, two worlds collide. Break out your blues and there's a world outside. Go out and dance in the dirt and get your mind untied.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Sons break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Separated timelines, collapse the skylines. Fearless tribes arrive in the nick of time to lift your mind. Now step inside. Today's lesson we learn to read in between the lines. These minds by design, mental flip. We keep our frequency high, then we buy the dip. We got that mental material, magic that manifests. Make leaps through the matrix, codename acrobats. So fuck your 9 to 5. It's dark to light. This time it's sunrise and midnight. Sons of the sun, sun veil, fresh to death. Rhymes that get you high, then continue to fly. The music, the muse, the mic, the sample. Powerful set of MCs you can't cancel. The king, the warrior, the wizard, the snake. Cycles that constantly spin till they break.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Sons break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Yeah, SOS. That's right. Sons of the sun. Starfell. Fresh to death.
Holy shit is burning out the lies. We hide down, keep it is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme. And this is Fearless. I want to say what's up to everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know if the microphone is working proper. Oh, let's turn it up a little bit. All right. Shout outs to everyone that could be here. It's a little impromptu. I don't care anymore. We're going to just put out information as the information needs to come out. I'm not scheduled to any more time on Saturdays or this or that. I was just telling KG and shout outs to my man KG, Sons of the Sun. I'm like, I have to get some stuff out regardless if it's like super information that's going to regard everyone or if it's just information about me. I don't my experiences. I'm all worked up right now. I'm like, I look like I got 2 black eyes and my Ascension symptoms are completely off the charts, and so are Paula's. And I looked up last night right before I went to bed at 2:30 in the morning. I got so exhausted and I didn't wake up until 12 this afternoon, which is weird. It's like I have to be taken down and be put down. I got up. Paula was down. And then she got up. She went in the other room and was like, I'm going back to bed. Bye. I'm like, wow, this is just getting really really insane. So the info has to come out. I'm already days past it, and it's really driving me nuts. I wish I could have gotten to everyone sooner. Shout outs to my Fearless family. And for everybody out there that's just doing it. I'm a little choppy. I'm going to answer a lot of questions if you guys have questions today. And I'm just going to go over a few things that have just been happening. So if it's happening to me, it's got to be happening to others. However, I am finding out some weird stuff that it doesn't matter who you are and how you're connected to anyone and what your bloodline is and what your DNA is. If you're not doing the work, you may seem susceptible to more things, more powers, more abilities. But some people are just more open than others, but you still have to do work within there. And because you have powers and abilities doesn't mean you're like free from the work or anything like that. It's the hard work we talk about. And basically it's just concentration on yourself, giving yourself the time, the effort, the energy to upgrade and do the things in life that you'll need to do. If you don't take that for yourself, it's going to be crazy. So I just want to say this to show you the connectivity. As I was setting up and going live, you guys were listening to the music. I was posting you guys saying hello on the screen, right? So right at the point of the song where it tells you in going AWOL, it's
with the golden colors with that path going up the middle. It's the song right before the show intro starts. The line was about holding you down because they don't want you to get out of control. So they have to suppress you, right? And then Lexi put, I'm at my 9 to 5 listening. And I posted it as the same time the line came up. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not paying attention. I'm just like, hello, 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 hello. And then I looked up and caught that and was like, ooh, like super wake up call, hitting the button. I think I hit another, touchdown today. Like I upgraded again. My awareness allowed me to catch another thing and I was aware of it. And it was really buried deep in the detail. You have to catch it. If you catch it, you catch it. It's meant there for you to see. It's always meant for you to see. You've been surrounded by this stuff the whole time. But as you see it, and then you say to yourself, whoa, that's fucking crazy. You're like, this is great. Another one will occur. So as you're doing the work and you're paying attention, right? Because it's awareness. It's all consciousness, holding it all together. You start to move through this and you dig deeper into the details, right? So more awareness in the same situation and scenario that's been there that you weren't aware of the entire time. And then you start noticing things on your way into that, right? It's like the rabbit hole you want to go down because you get to know yourself on this crazy intimate level. And all you have to do is witness it and then say, I witnessed it internally. That was crazy cool. Like, don't be like, it's crazy out of control. I can't take it. If you cry like a baby, you're going the other side. Right? But if you're like, wow, fascinating, show me more, boom, it just starts showing up again. I was having like this really weird thing right before the show was starting. Like I was forgetting the things that I want to talk about. And what I'm seeing is like a shuffling of cards. And on the first card, it's like the one thing that's important from the other day, then another card for another thing from the day after, then another thing from the thing I really want to talk about that's over here. But the important thing was to talk about the awareness that just occurred in the now moment. A new card takes play. Boom, there you go. Now check it out. And I remembered everything down the line automatically. Okay, a few things. Now, I want you to try to think about these things in your life. I had a list here. I think I talked about it the last show. I'm going to get to the questions in 1 second, Lexi. I see that you wrote something. And on the list, I threw the list out already because it's already done. So I got really excited late last night and I just ripped it down. I was like Rocky when he sees his opponent's picture on the mirror. He puts the guy's picture there. And then when he's ready and he feels like he can take the opponent, he just grabs it and crushes it and he throws it out. He's like, I don't got to look at this guy no more. I don't need to be in my opponent's head like that. He's about to get his ass beat. Right. So I threw this out, but there was 4 things on there and I wrote it like 2 years ago, almost like a year and a half ago. And I was telling KG this, Sons of the Sun. I was like, yo, that list was done out of order and was supposed to be done in another order. So there's 4 songs on it. And what we wound up doing is just completely, see, you had your list for the day or for the project and you didn't get it done in order. It had to come out in a new order. Can you do that? Can you like break away from the mental problem you're going to have with not doing it in order? No, I want this song to come out and I want it to come out on Halloween. We wanted this song to come out. It's called Upper Hand on Halloween, before Halloween. So we had like a Halloween track, something to uplift, even though it's a little bit of a deeper groove to the song, right? We wanted it to come out during this season, give you something a little high frequency to listen to that's on that, spooky kind of, October, November, fall's coming. Completely missed the date, shot right by it, but things were getting done, right? And then I think it was yesterday, I put the song up, but it's not available. You have to wait 30 days. I went through this whole friggin' thing in my head. I was like, we missed it by 30 days, but we were only a few days out of the October date that we meant to hit. We're just a little slow and behind. And I just picked the date and I seen that it was, it would have been 9-2-3-2-3. 9-10-10-2-3-2-3. 11-2-3-2-3. Sorry, I'm working the dates. in my head. I've never done this before. I've never had things like this happen unintentionally, nonstop. As you could see, that was weird. So I looked, and it was Thanksgiving. So the song was it's coming out 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Thanksgiving. Well, the night, as soon as it hits the 23rd, it'll be released, New York City time. And I was like, wow, that's great. And they're like, you grateful? I'm like, I'm so thankful. Shit. And then I hit Kevin up, and I was like, oh, it's coming out on Thanksgiving. Thankful, grateful. Like, you can't explain. It's like an open, straight channel in my higher self who's like watching me, and he's like more involved. It's right. So when I go to do something stupid, he just kind of redirects into the proper direction. And I'm already just, instead of getting confused by the red balloon or the woman in the red dress, every time it shows up in whatever scenario, I can now just pivot and get back to what matters. And it's the funniest thing. It all lines up and starts to look like magic on that level. And I'm going, in my head, all I'm saying is, I hope it's right. I hope we're doing the right thing. Kev, I know we're blasting through. We're doing our thing. Like, it's an uplifting conversation. But then I'm thinking, are people going to like it? Is this the right timing? Does timing even matter? Right? I'm a wizard. Wizard's always on time, right? A sorcerer supreme. I'm always where I need to be. However, you want other things to line up a certain way, right? I want it to come out at 111 on 111 and 1111, like, and sometimes it's like, nah, you come out on 11111103, and you're like, that kind of, so that's Thanksgiving, or reinserting things to give thankful, grateful for, right? I can only do it in my creations through how I create. So I create through music. So now you take this in your life and you start to utilize your business better. Maybe you do music and you start to, you're seeing this. Maybe you do gardens and like you got your shit right this year. Maybe you got everything just lined up, and then right at the end, when you're like, I don't really know what to do, I'm kind of new to this. Can you plant during the winter? Like, I'm in zone New York, upper area, or Canada or something. Like, can I do this? And then you find out if you dig 6 inches down and plant your garlic now, before the frost, it'll be ready to go next year. And you're like, bro, I didn't know that. And you just look down and all the garlic sitting there, and you already have an abundance from what you just did. And then you just line it up. And you're like, we're going to try this. The bed's empty. It's ready to go. You can put some hay on it. And so all different examples. I didn't know how to cook when this show first started. I think 2 years ago, I started talking about it. I learned Paula knows how to cook. So I've been just watching her. We watch cooking shows nonstop, and then we take breaks from them. And then we cook, and we try all these. She's a master at this. I can only cook a few things, but now, I cook dinner. I never say, hey, let me cook dinner for everyone. I've never done that before, ever. I think I was a kid. My parents were getting divorced, and I had to make breakfast in the morning because my mother worked a different shift. So I had to get up, do things. She would leave certain things out for me so I could just bang them out. And she would get home as I would leave. So I'd make breakfast for me, my brother, and her. It was very simple. It was always scrambled eggs, pancakes, bacon, whatever. Breakfast stuff. Today's cereal, got up late, or oatmeal for everyone because I couldn't get out of the bathroom all the time. It was some weird shit. I was a little kid though. I was like 14. I was like 14 years old, and I had no clue back then. I wasn't raised like that to do the cooking. I was like in the Italian house. There was all the women were always cooking. There's like squads of grandmas and her sisters, and everyone was there. So they just muscle you out. So I never really got into that, but I also didn't want to expect anyone to do it for me. Paula just happens to do it, and it comes off sometimes as like, yo, I'm cooking all the time, but she don't be saying that. If she doesn't want to cook, she'll just be like, I can't cook tonight. Let's order something. Now, some point last year and a half, probably a year and a half ago, that flipped and started moving in a positive hyper direction for me learning. I don't know how many times you need to do something before you're like, oh yeah, like that one was fucking great. Like I understood time, temperature, you know, all the concepts behind whatever it is you're trying to do. So I went with it, and then instead of like you want to touch everything and flip it and take a look. No, stop touching things. You got to learn happy fingers are no good. That's the worst, right? You got to learn patience and just relax. So I'm like applying all this stuff I've learned that I watch her do, but I watch like Gordon Ramsay, which I kind of stopped watching because I saw he was on the list. It pisses me off. But I'll catch some other characters and I feel really positive when I watch them. And I'm just checking them out. I'm like, yeah, man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then I'll create something now that rivals what they showed me by so much. Like we have a game we play here where it's like, yo, how much would you pay me if I put this plate in front of you right now? If we were out at dinner and I was the chef and this is what you wanted, obviously, and I showed up with it, boom, I put the plate in front of you. What's a price you would pay for this? Right? And then we check out prices. This is like what old people do, I think. But it's our thing because we're cooking it. So I have to go. I'm a meat eater. I'm sorry, guys, whoever doesn't like that. And we go to the butcher. We don't play the game and go try to buy pack. Hi, baby. She just woke up. We don't try to play the game anymore. And I'll tell you why. One, you can't trust anyone. I'm sorry. I just don't trust anyone. It's not maybe you. And then like maybe you're trustworthy and then your product is just not because you're not as involved as I am. So I'll go out to dinner. I get sick. She gets sick. We have one place we go. It's like everyone loves Paula there and then in loves me as well. When we go there, we have no problem. You can eat everything. You stuff out like you've never eaten before and then you leave. Was the food that great? Some of it's really, really, really good. Some of it's all right. And I can obviously I tell Paul all the time, yo, you cook way better than any of this shit here. But then people are putting this loving energy because they fucking see you walk in. They come over there. I walked in there with her one night and the guy came over. He's like, oh, look who's here. Right. I never met him because she goes out with her girlfriend to this place. And he shakes my hand. He kisses me on one. She kisses me on the other. And I'm like, my brother, right? It's like really Italian. And then the other, like the maitre d' sees that the waiter just did this, like the head waiter. He comes running over. Like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to greet you guys. And then, oh, Miss Paula. And oh, Mr. Frank, you're here. Oh, come on. Come sit down. I love that shit. I love that shit. So I'll do that. And then the love that goes into it, the chef, we bring cookies for everyone. So the chef be in the back, like, oh, who the fuck brought cookie? Paul is here. I'll take, and it's a nice restaurant. It's a restaurant. So it's not like a diner or anything. And it is a little expensive, but I'll do that once in a while. She does it all the time because that's awesome. And if you could find people like that, that's great. So I'm not taking away, but you obviously know McDonald's is off the fucking menu. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, White Castle. There's human found in the fucking meat across the board. I used to work for the USDA, right? Department of Agriculture. I was a head inspector as a federal food grader. I'm stupid high on the charts. So I would say, what is a percentage? This is how I was into it. Alex Jones, way back in the day, had said a few things: chemtrails, fluoride, some other shit, stuff in the food and the water, basically. So I'm now in the food industry, deep into it, and noticing they are putting there's an agreeable amount that could be in there, and I'm like, well, what's the agreeable amounts on? This is why I didn't work in meat, and I did fresh fruits and vegetables. And they're like, well, you can have 2% this, 2% that. And I'm like, wait, you can't have any of that. None. 100% zero. And they're like, well, people lose their hand in the mixes. And I'm not work. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear it. They're like, no, you this is part of what you have to understand. All right. So that's another thing too. We had pizza from our favorite pizza joint, and I walked in one night, and the guy looked really upset, and I said to him, "Hey man, what's going on or whatever?" And he was like, went from like, "Fuck," I knew he was thinking fuck another customer, fuck this guy or whatever. And he looked up and it was me, and I live right next door. So I see him all the time, and I'm always in here. And then he was like, hey man. And I just got it like 3 slices for us or whatever. We were hanging out. And then we didn't feel good after eating, but I had told Paul, there was something wrong in there. Like, guy wasn't acting right. He wasn't in a great mood, and it was in the food. We've had, it was like a perfect year run with the new guy. He's so happy to be in there doing his thing, right? And now he's got other workers in there, and they're all everybody working like really good. And then that one off day, everyone's getting sick from the food, or you get really bad heartburn from like the sauce. And you're like, what changed today? And you're like, well, it was everybody. I'm so high up in the details, or deep into the details, and so high in the frequency that I'm seeing all this shit. And it makes me a difficult person to sometimes live with. I'm sure she would say that. I think there's fresh coffee. That's fresh. I'm rolling back to take a look at some of the questions. But okay, so they always say the devil's in the details. You can always find out more. I'm going to dig another one. So I am absolutely, Paula, how long have we been together? 8 years? 8 years, almost 9. Wow, this is great. So yeah, it's our circuit year. So I pay attention to her because she's my best friend. I'm still in love with her. Like the first time I said, I love you. I don't take for granted anything. Like all these weird things flipped. So in the details, I notice things, right? And without breaking chops constantly to your partner and constantly annoying them, you act as a cushion for when they're about to fly out of bounds. That's the best way to put it. I just let you live. But if you're about to fly out of bounds, I'll be like, hey, don't forget. Oh shit. Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate you letting me live like that. That you notice that. Nobody has ever noticed that or said that ever. I'm like, well, the devil's got to be removed from these details, because that's what you've been missing. That's why the devil is in the detail. And you really dig into it, you start to see the information, and you don't like necessarily what the information is, because there's a lot of shit going on in there. It's like, man, that's what you want me to deal with, and that's how I got to fucking deal with myself. Well, I don't want to deal with anyone else. No, you want to heal, homie. You want to heal. You want to take a look, and then me as Frank, I just want to be part of that. So noticing it is like a special beauty. Like, oh, I got to see this for the first time. We have a lot of first times together, even though we've done these things before with other people. It's just they never worked out. The way you want to go out and just enjoy your dinner without fighting or doing some shit without having a fucking problem. We don't deal with that. So we always are like, wow, that was a first time. We're having all these first times again. And then you dig into the detail of the human being and their experience, and you realize no one's ever said that to them before, or been like that with them, or understood that, or was compassionate enough, or gave a shit enough to even mention it, because we're too fucking busy to do me and this and that. But you're not really doing anything. Right? Me playing with action figures isn't really doing anything. That's why I don't play video games, even though for some reason I keep paying the $100 a year so I could be on the online thing or whatever. And I check it 3-4 times a year. I'm like, I'm backing out of the whole thing and paying attention to exactly what I want in this place. And the more I do, the more magic happens, because if the whole place evaporated, the only thing standing here is going to be me and Paula and the cats. And this old fucking cat right here. We got a couple new cats. So we've been helping everything that we can within our means. It's gotten harder. The struggle has gotten fucking real. The prices have gone ridiculously up. Nobody knows if they can even live through this anymore. We're all going like, oh. And as you dig into the detail, you realize when it's not you and your partner and your loved ones and your cats and your dogs or whatever, you start to realize there's drama in the settings. Okay. And you're like, I don't want to be part of that. Well, you don't really have to be, and you're not. Your empathy and your connection doesn't mean that you have to connect to it to have the information. Does that make sense? like you want the information, but you want to be able to not empathetically connect to it directly, because then you're like, oh, your heartstring gets pulled on, which is what the monster wants. So you're fighting a monster that's hiding in a shadow, trying to get you to fight me. Right? And then there's like an infinite amount of other mixture of people in there, every culture, every race, everything. And then it's trying to get us to all fight each other. And then some of those people aren't even real, and we don't even know who we are, and we don't even know what's going on, right? So okay, so I'm going to try to present the visual to you. We're here to observe. I said this all the way at the beginning. First episode. So to saying that, you're like, yeah, I could do that. No, you can't. Obviously, every single person has a problem with this, every single one. But then we learn to overcome it, right? And we wind up, because we all have something to say about something. Look what they're doing right now. I don't want to use names so they don't ding me, because I'm finally, I don't know. I kind of see some good guy stuff happening in the background, and I could tell you through the analytics of my show that there's something else occurring in the background. I think the restrictions are being slowly removed. Slowly. The balance is going into favor. We're actually in the last part of Libra in October. Everything's got to rebalance itself. So in the details, it's going to show you the results of these things that are occurring. Sorry, there's a couple things going on. All right. So within the details, this is where we're going to find what's happening. Okay. Are you paying attention to the drama detail? So it's the beep boop, right? Shot. It's good. They're trying to make a comeback. Masks, UFOs, ETs showing up in backyards, weird military mentions. Is it happening here? Is it happening there? Is the White House got a gate around it? Is Guantanamo Bay full? Like, we have all this stuff going on, right? I asked, can you observe and not get attached? And you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good. And then people start bombing each other, and they start fighting. And now you have everyone that said, nah, I'm down, bro. Peace, love, and happiness. Boom. You got Ben Shapiro calling to do terrible things, just terrible to the other guys. And then you have the other guys doing terrible things back the other way. And you're listening to it go back and forth now from the people that just swore you're here to observe and watch, but they're taking sides. Listen, if you choose a side, you lose. You're on that side. It doesn't matter if you win on that side, you lose on the spiritual side. There should be one side you're on, one source light. That's it. You want this or that? Peace. Well, you can't. That's not a choice. It's a fucking choice, homie. It's a choice. And I'm going to start walking with a big stick to make sure you understand that. You keep it off my wave. I'm fully aware of what's going on. I'm going to vote with my dollar before it destroys itself. I'm going to prepare myself for the things that are happening around me. Right? They say God, gold, guns. You have to add Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point. I'm telling you right now, you have to. I keep saying it. Those who have not listened, I love you so much, but get $100 worth of Bitcoin. Stop being a bitch. I'm just telling you right now, you're going to explode past 90% of the planet when it flips. It's going to flip. And it's not like we've been saying it. And it hasn't worked in favor. Remember when it was at 69,000? You're going to cry to me and say, well, it went all the way down to 20. Yes, so what? I've been in since it's 800. Didn't press the button till 1200. Prior to that, it was like you work down the line in exponential zero amounts back the other way. So you could get like 1,000 for $20 back in the day, right? But it was on paper. You had to print out your code and all that. You hold on from that point all the way through to now, with the dips up high and dips down low, doesn't matter. Institutions are buying everywhere. The SEC is failing on all levels, trying to charge them with security fraud and all this. They're losing every fight. Bitcoin's the one you want. That's the one you want. That's the one that'll make you wealthy. It doesn't matter. It's at 30-something thousand. You guys should be like, it's at 30,000. We need to just buy a little bit. Remember, it splits. So you don't need a Bitcoin. If you can do that, that's great. If you can't, just having, I think it's like was it 0.26? 0.26 of a Bitcoin puts you in the 1% on the flip. Scarcity is part of Bitcoin. You can't print more of it. You can't do all this. It's like a digital asset that's like gold, but better. And it's for your future. And if you smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, drink coffee, buy frivolous shit every once in a while, and don't have $100 in Bitcoin and then complain against Bitcoin, you're a fool. I'm just letting you know now. I told this lady when PayPal first introduced, I said, PayPal's not going to let you take your crypto off PayPal. But I noticed she was using a lot of cab services like Uber and all that other shit. So she was paying through PayPal. That was like her account. So I said, yo, they have a crypto thing. When it first bopped in, I said, yo, put 100 in crypto on there and just use it starting in I guess later on when it starts making more money. I said, use that for your Uber money. And she's like, what do you mean? I go, well, that's going to exponentially go up. And what they'll do is because PayPal tries to get in on your shit. So, but they will, in her scenario, this would be fantastic because that 100 will exponentially go up, right? So a few years later, that could be $1,000, $2,000. Prices can't stay this high. The system's going to crash. You're going to have digital gold sitting there. And if you need to go anywhere because you don't want to buy a car, you don't want to learn how to drive, they'll just pick you up because you'll have a ton of cash. And what they'll do is PayPal will turn it into whatever payment system and flip it over because they want to hold the Bitcoin. You're a holder on their stuff over there. But if you're traveling with Ubers all the time and doing all kinds of PayPal stuff and that's your thing, there's a lot of people in the city here, man. And this girl had no clue what Bitcoin was. She threw 100 in there, and I'm so proud of her. She's like, yo, I've watched this thing move up and down. I go, right? It's always more than 100, right? So that you had put in. And she was like, yeah. I'm like, see what I'm talking about? And it didn't do anything yet. Institutions are keeping it low because they're buying giant chunks, and then they do this one sell-off, and they just give it to another bunch of addresses that are theirs. See, this game doesn't play out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin saves you from them being able to play that weirdo game because some of it gets released to the market and the market eats it immediately. And the market's not always them because there's people like me that's like, yo, I got $100. I'm going to put it in. Because if you have 100 in, 99% have zero. Do you understand how that works? You ever collected anything in your life worth anything and watched it go up in value? This is like a consciousness that's safe inside the blockchain of life that you're allowed to use and you will be able to use to share with more than just the human race in the future. You have to have some kind of stuff that barters and the energetic trade. We can't just stand there until we can just create something and hand it off, manifest it right out of the air. There still has to be a system of this, right? And then as you get up into 5D and all that, it just kind of goes away. That's where the manifestation's happening, so you don't need that. But we're on a train and it's going in two directions at some point. You're going to get those that aren't ready and those that are ready. And the train's going to leave the station and we're going to ride against each other. So it looks like we're all here. Everyone's here. We're all here. It's in the details. Remember, this is the whole point of the whole thing. So we're looking into it and we're like, oh, look, everyone's here. And then someone's not there. They went up to the front of the car or the back of the car, another area of the lunch car, the smoking cart. They're doing their own thing now over there. So you're not readily seeing them. You know, the trains are riding and everything's cool. Right. And then you look over and another bunch of people are gone. And you start to see the trains separating, and you're not on one train, you're on two trains riding alongside of each other. That's what was happening. And then they just slightly split off. One kind of goes up and starts doing its thing, and the other eventually goes that way. So those on the ass end of the car are all in the car train together. We've been here the whole time, and then eventually it just splits. And then people be jumping back and forth. This is the timeline metaphor, right? So we're all riding, and everyone's jumping back and forth. Hey, look, it's Frank. Hey, look, it's Phil. Hey, look at, FearLess family. Yeah. Everybody's looking. Hey, there's mom, there's dad. No, blip, 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 blip. People start going. And I know exactly what I mean. And then the train starts splitting and just goes off. Some people are going to stay in 3D. You have to stay. You're going back in the loop. You have another 25,000. Now, inside of that, those are the people that don't make the conscious choice, but everyone gets to do exactly what we're all doing, right? So there's no one special more than anyone else. There's just levels and layers of people doing it and not doing it, or not ready to do it yet. That's how I should say it. And then some of the things we're seeing here aren't real. It's not a simulation. It's a holographic reality. All the simulations are your fractals that are playing out. Your focus is here, granting free will in the scenario to witness what we all came here to witness and then be part of. Now, like the solar flash and that kind of stuff. It's like that's a physical event that manifests through enough of us waking up, pulling in the energy at the now moment, because all the galactic brothers and star sisters, and they're watching and allowing energy to come in dispersed, and then less dispersed and more focused. So it's like a focused beam. When enough of us pop off and can hold the energy down, it's just going to hit. We don't know the date. That's why we talk about scenarios and stuff of what I can remember from when I saw the solar flash. I knew it was either going into winter because it was cold. There was no snow. I talked about this mad times. Or it was going into spring, cold, no snow. Freezing out when it happens, but it's not snowing. It's like everything is just like quiet. And then, so when we had the fires here at the beginning of the summer and Canada was burning, I think there's still got fires up there, by the way. So just that one day, the whole sky turned red here in New York. I was showing somebody pictures yesterday, reminding them, hey, don't forget that happened. I thought the solar flash went off because that's what it looks like. It didn't look deadly, aerial, phenomenal here, but it had a red tinge like we were on Mars. And I said, oh, it looks like that, but it's not that. This is red, orange. The solar flash comes through pink energy. It's literally, what are you doing in there? It's literally looks exactly like source energy, consciousness, right? It's the white light, but you're the only thing here. This is like, Me and Nick Zervos were in my house sitting here, and we go under, and he's like, yo, there's no one here but us. And I said, well, not in the whole world. And when I went under, it hit me. And then I looked up, and it was just these swirling pink energies in the room. Nothing else was real. And those pink energies were holding everything up. So when I would look up at the TV area, like, what is that? My pink energy, which is my consciousness, would expand across the room, look back at me, and be like, yeah. And I'm like, well, are you talking to me? And it's like, well, it's you. And then his was there doing that, and we were looking at each other. So it was like almost like these magic swirling energies, right? Every time I've seen that kind of stuff, it's when an avatar of an energy steps forward. Kali, Shiva, Ganesha, they come out of energy. The blue energy, the dark purple energy, the blackness of Satan, all that shit. They come out of that. The avatar, the guy or girl that will speak on behalf of the energy. When they come out of it and they're like, hello, it's swirling around them like a genie sometimes. Well, you do that too. Those are just elements of the energy. right? There's some crazy stuff going on here. And we're learning this, and we're tuning into it on the highest levels. So we want to back out on all the other levels that no longer suit us in any way, shape, or form. We need to get rid of them 100%. So I just back out of them. Now, once again, go back to the observer. I know there's a lot of information. I'm just, I had no idea I was going to go into all this. It just feels like I'm kind of channeling it straight in. Hey, love, would you like this? Here you go, baby. You're welcome. Okay, so that was, I waited for you. I didn't know if you were going to get up or not. Okay, so can you observe? Now it's football season. Can you observe? Well, I'm a Jet fan. You're already out. You failed. I'm observing. I'm just watching it. Well, I want to get involved, bro. It's my team. You see the play that guy made. All right, how far are you going to go into that? Was it an amazing catch? It was amazing. I loved it. That's it. How deep? Well, you don't understand. He's better than this fuck because that guy with the numbers. And then 10 years ago, and you go into it. Now, are you allowed to do that? Of course. But you know how people don't understand the difference between doing that and then having some spirit and then thinking that that is spirit, right? Because it's the spirit of the team and getting involved. No, you're in too deep because you don't know you're in too deep and you're not aware of the spirit end on the other end, but you have team spirit. Like, we make no sense in this world. It becomes like one of these really harsh, weirdo realities when the people around us are like, bro, like, okay, so somebody really close to me said something really fucked up. And then I told Paula, like, all right, I was like, I love you. I was like, Paula was listening to me talk to this person. I can't say who it is. And then I go, I hope you have an amazing day. It was great talking to you, and I'll catch you soon. We'll make some plans to hang out. And I'm like, right at the end of the conversation, because they couldn't take the mental any further, said all these people on this side need to go, and they need to just do it already. And I'm like, dude, there's like children and women and men that have nothing to do with anything you're talking about. Well, it needs to happen. Hands up, don't shoot. I got no problem with whatever it is you said, just because you're allowed to say what you want. However, I cannot join in that kind of stuff. All right, so it shows you, no matter how deep down the rabbit hole you go, there is something to draw you in so deep. Right now, most of the distractions don't involve you. If you really think about it, they're there to distract you. So you're like, of course, they're there. It's for me to be distracted. You back out of it and you'll realize it's not for you. That's all I'm saying. Science yourself in the scenario. If you're having a problem with the spirit end of it, science it. My brother called me. I don't know if I talked about this the last time. He said to me, I no longer believe that you're crazy. Not that I did, but I can prove to you that you're correct with numbers. And I went, oh, he's having a spiritual awakening. And then he starts screaming about how much action figures cost compared to and what I discussed with him years ago. I'm like, Rob, you were in the heist. You were literally in the group. Like, we wrote the songs together. And it's all coming true now, 100% coming true. So I was like, somehow we knew back then. And he's like, no, but I could show you in the supermarket. See, he needed to see it in a solid number. And he's like, this doesn't make sense. You know, they told me. I said, who told you? Everything from the politics down, Frank. This is how he talks. Everything from the politics down. Told me. It's up 7%. Maybe a high of 14.7. He went to the supermarket. This is my point. That's why he said he agreed with me. And he goes, okay, so I was paying $2.99 for this a month ago. It's $9.99 now. So it's up hundreds of percent. Who's doing the math? I said, correct. They want to starve us to death. They want us to fucking lose all our money. They don't want us to be able to fucking have time to think about anything. Correct. It's not like I was telling you the whole time. You fucking wrote the songs with me. Like we're so in the movie this was the download I got last night. I was screaming because my boy said some stupid shit in front of me, and then I try to insert some wisdom, and he was fucking mad rude. He was completely douche rude. You okay?
Yeah, I like walking stuff out again.
Yeah. In the movie I love watching that because I always threaten to beat the clown to death. It's great. I always like I'll punch that thing right in its face because that doesn't, none of that demon stuff scares me. But I love to see like what they're trying to show. Well, in the first movie, the kids are all it's terrifying, right? So they're going through their little thing, but on the other end, the movie opens and nobody remembers what happened from the first movie, and everybody's grown up. So my download is my friend was giving me shit. He wouldn't believe a word I said. Like I'm almost 50 years old. I literally am doing and living exactly as I'm supposed to. But you're having a hard time, and he's going through the exact same thing as me from the beginning. So it's your turn. I noticed people going through their things. And when I brought it up, I said, you should check into this because I had that problem. Literally, I'm 10 years. I'm still fighting the system with everything and my injury and everything. And he goes, He starts talking about something else. And then he starts talking about They Live. So now he's like, I saw it for the first time. I never saw that. I'm like, wait, we grew up together, bro. You never saw that? Roddy Piper? And he goes, nah. He goes, God, that fight scene in that movie, it's way too long. And now I'm getting a massive download as I'm talking to him because my higher self's like, don't fight with your friend. Right? I was going to scream right at him. What the fuck is wrong with you? I would never lie to you, ever. I've never lied to you. You're my best friend ever. What the fuck is wrong with you? No, I'm not allowed to say that. He tells me about the fight scene, and me and Paula are just looking at him. So I go, a great metaphor for the fight scene. It takes so long because the guy wouldn't fucking put the glasses on. It was his best friend. He looks right at me. He's like, what? I go, it's a metaphor for how fucking thick-skulled best friends could be. And he was just staring at me. And I'm like, okay. So they fought mad long, frustrating, beat up, is the greatest example of all time towards a person. My dude, I would never lie to you. It's not like I'm asking you to smoke crack. I'm not asking you to believe in me that way. I'm asking you to look. That's it. And wow, people are fucking dicks. They don't want to do it. And then finally they fucking put it on. He's like, and then the two of them become like fucking Batman and Robin. Get the fuck out. Riggs and Murtaugh, the original. They're like, bro, we got to stop this. Man, you beat the shit out of me. All you had to do was put the glass on. I literally had a box of the fucking glasses. Well, no, that's nonsense now. There's no thank you. There's nothing. Like, he was just staring at me. He's a fucking very intelligent guy. More intelligent than most people I've ever met. But with that intelligence, sometimes it lacks. I said, I'm just asking you to look. You got a bag of shrooms at your house. You have the ability to do this. Just look. I would never steer you wrong. It was like when my mother disrespects me without disrespecting me. She's like, Frank's talking his thing again. No. I'm just asking you to look. Okay. Enough of that. Back out. are you still just observing? I'm going to give you some prime. All right. Hold time. My guides are like, another example. I go into the pizzeria, right? And so I think the last few days, the Ascension symptoms have been so intense. The sun's been doing something. I'm going to get to the questions eventually. I'm going to scroll to the beginning of the show and I'll look. So the sun's been doing some crazy shit. You go out, look at it, you stand up, you're like staring into it, and you're like, what is that going on up there? Well, we know what's going on. The energy is pumping up. It's ramping up, and they're trying to use chemtrails and all this shit to not let you see, massive amounts of distractions to hide. So it's like the politics going on, and you're getting the truth coming out, and then the politics are giving you fake, and the news is giving you fake, and it's all distractions and nonsense and details. That's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. When you back out and you look, you go, oh, here's the truth right here. We were just looking at it the whole time, but you get lost inside all these details. It's like the light said it was going to overturn everything. It was going to show you everything that's real. So the stone flips, you see it, you choose not to believe it. That's your fucking problem. And then there's the deception that rides right alongside it, because there's two timelines, right? So the deception reveals itself after the real thing occurs, and you're like, oh, and now you choose to go down the rabbit holes. If you can't pull yourself out, that can be a problem. So as you observe, and the sun is spitting out this juice, this is just something I'm noticing with Paula and I. The Ascension symptoms were so fucking bad, I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. I'm shaking, and we're not going to talk about it yet. It was bad. It was fucking bad. And then I have to go eat. I'm like, I don't think we should cook tonight. I'm going to the pizzeria. They're at least 99% reliable. I'll go in there. And I saw the guy that used to live right upstairs, right? While I was in the pizzeria. Now, I feel like I just came out of a cocoon into something more. Colors started to, like, the TV colors are looking blurrier, no matter how high definition you're showing it to me in. Something is off with that, but outside, everything's fine. Everything I think that's real is fine. I think that's what's happening. The matrix is the overlay. I keep saying this over and over. It's not a simulation. It's an overlay causing a fucking phony simulation within the free will spectrum to get you to choose to do the fucking thing for the villain. What? Okay, so that shit's removing, and you're starting to see more real color, more real things. The things that are projecting the idea that it has of the real color, the real thing, isn't no longer appropriate for your eyes. Thus, so it shows up like a little more, just a little, it looks dead, not dead, but like on its way to dying, like a gray variant of itself almost. It's like, oh, it's like they almost got it correct. Does that make sense to anyone? So all that shit's falling around. So now I'm standing with this dude, and I got a really bad chill that came up me before he said, yo, Frank, right? So I'm like, and I turned around, I looked at him. I didn't know what I was looking at. It was the weirdest feeling I've had in a long time. I was like looking at him, and then he's like, yo, now he don't live around here no more, right? So I'm like, you guys picking something up or something? He's like, oh yeah, we decided to stop the pizzeria. We love this pizzeria, whatever. I'm like, dude, where you live, there's like 7 or 8 great fucking places. He goes, nah, I know the guy in here forever. So I go, okay, what happened to your face? And he's like, I just had surgery. They removed this giant thing out of my chin, my face. I go, oh man. So I was like really compassionate. I felt drawn to be like, oh man. So I was like sending love into his face. Okay. So unaware of anything, he's very overweight. Didn't have cancer coming out of the surgery. I'm like, that's the greatest thing in the world. And the first thing he does is run over, and he grabs a Pepsi like this, like the 1 liter. And he's like, oh, my favorite. Oh, yeah. So he got all this food from the pizzeria and then got the Pepsi. I'm like, man, you don't want to do that. So I felt why I saw the timeline he was in. I saw it. I was so out of resonance with him, and I was like fading. He's like, hey, as you leave, don't forget to say, I was telling Paul, it was the weirdest feeling. It felt like I was Marty McFly. I've been using this example when his family's leaving the photo, right? I saw that with him. He was leaving my photo. I was like, how did you? But where my higher self was like, oh, you're seeing that. And I'm like freaking out in the fucking pizzeria. So I go outside and I see his wife. I tap on the window. I love these people. So I was like, they're very nice people. So I'm like, hey, much love to you. Yeah, it's crazy at my place. They're still drilling and doing stuff upstairs. It's, but they're nice people and whatever. I don't dig into the drama. And right away, she's like, oh yeah, but and right into the drama. And I felt, tasted, and was completely like, it's like if we were on stage and you played a tune that was out of tune in the middle of the song, and I was like, that's what it felt like, and all around me, but it was coming from there. So she was there, and I was like, and then she was sitting, and the inside the car looked dark. It was gangster. It was nighttime. So she was like, hey, what's up? So I felt it go back in because I was like, nah, I'm outside. You ain't. I will never let you do that to me ever again. Right? The energy vampire, drag me into the hole, make me have to agree. Yeah, fucking blow them all up. You'll never hear me say this. Violence is not the answer, but it is an answer. Just keep that in mind in this world. Until we get out into other positions, just keep that in mind. You got to be safe. Why? You're observing. Observers get to watch protected. This is getting to my point. You're digging into the rabbit hole every single time. So I'm showing you examples. So I send love to her, and it was like that resonant frequency that people give off that will surround you, like try to like put a bubble around you. And oh yeah, could you tell me information? Maybe no. I just was like, boom, 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 back the other way, back to you. Hey, love you. Have a great night. Bye. I'll tell Paula you said hi. Or I'll tell you send love. Bye. And walked off, and it felt like they disappeared. We shared love, conversation, compassion, and I moved on. They had, in their details, drama. Let's just call it drama. And it's like there's like levels of drama where it gets darker, but it's not quite dark, and it's kind of like, yeah, I know what you're doing. Maybe we shouldn't go there. I don't do that with people. If you're a piece of shit, I'm coming right at you at this point. You want the pipety doobie? All right. So thank you everybody for these are examples to help you, but I'm seeing it. So there's people out here that are listening right now that have better abilities than me. My ability started with being able to see up and down in density and frequency. Eventually, it's just what we can do. I don't know what it's called when you have like awareness where if somebody's looking at me from like another dimension and they're peeking in, I see them. I gotta pay attention though. But sometimes I just feel it. And if I tell you, I've said this on the show before. It's almost like a Looney Tunes cartoon, right? Where you break the fourth wall. Like I'm busy doing this with you, right? And I look over and I see holes with different ETs looking in at me now. Because I'm like, what are you doing? If no one's influencing, then it's all good. They're like, dude, this is the greatest show on earth. So I pull the curtain back and there's just crowds watching, fucking crowds. And the joke that Paula and I have when we take showers, it gets real intense. Like you're in the fucking shower with you. I'm like, I see like full third eye, see you standing right there. And at times they'll make stuff move. They'll interfere with things, just to not interfere, but they'll like show you they're right there. And that like, look, you're not just seeing me here like this, but it's alive. Like you feel it. Like when Shiva stands next to me, even though he's always with me, when I focus on him, it's like, damn, it's him. It never not feels like that. But as I get stronger, I feel like him. And that's kind of what his energy does, right? It makes you want to be more like it because it's how the sacred masculine is supposed to act, right? And then you activate your Ganesh, right? So then you're like, you learn how to ground, you dance, you understand, you gain wealth, wisdom, and abundance within yourself. And then you meet the other side, Kali, right? The dancer of destruction. We talked about this ongoing. She just destroys the old, and some people just hold on to old shit. You got to let go of the fucking story. You're not what you were last week, right? So all of this starts to zoom out. And as you get out of the details and you release all of it, you're still fully aware. People think like, what do you mean I got to lose it? No, you keep it, but you keep it over here, right? It's like in your bubble instead of in you. You don't want anything in you. Well, you know what I mean. You want to not carry any of this stress and baggage and trauma within you, period. However, you will gain wisdom, experience, and understanding, and a common sense about, and a super understanding, like a deeper level understanding, where there'll be like a forgiveness and not forget, but you forgive, but you have full understanding. But you're no longer here hurting me. You're over there, and I could view you. I could view it, and I could view it from your side and be like, oh, yeah, so you're just a fucking meathead. So that's how that happened. Or I was being a dick to you over there. Like you get a bigger understanding of the whole scenario, right? So deeper meanings and understandings as you back out of everything they put on the planet right now to distract you. Everyone's picking fucking sides. And this guy picked Pepsi and then he disappeared down the timeline from me. I was like, yo, I ran into the house with my pizza. Pizza was really good that night, by the way. Like really fucking good. And I was telling Paula, so I think we're passing through a layer. And I always talked about the fearless family as having the heads up on the incoming so we could ride the wave, not get crashed by it. And when you cocoon, that's not you getting hit by the wave. That's you riding in your cocoon, even though it feels like, oh, everything's falling apart. It's like I'm liquefying. I don't even know what's happening to me. So my Ascension symptoms as of Thursday of last week, it felt like I was sick the whole week. All the cats, everybody had a cold. But I had massive allergies, not a cold. We've already had ivermectin, antibiotics in us. It wasn't that. What we noticed after a few days in last week, it was we were out in the sun. Now, Paula could take a lot more than I can. And she's out there doing things all morning. I've been up all night. I'm getting 4 hours of clip sleep, losing my fucking mind half the time, trying to put out music and do things, talking to Kevin. Like I'm trying to be normal inside of everything and feel normal, but I've been down. It's like, but I always say, if you go up like 5 steps and you fall down 3, you're still up 2. What's wrong with you? Get up. Man, I started getting messages when I got out in the sun. I went out in the sun on the 3rd day, like, dude, what the fuck? I'm sick. Is this sickness? Because it don't feel like it. Why does it go away at 6 o'clock at night, every night? Like I was losing my fucking shit. Source, you got to hear me out. I'm not barking at you, but bro, we got to talk right fucking now while I'm standing in the grass, bringing ayahuasca. Mother Ayahuasca, please, I need you, my higher self. I need source. That's it. I don't want to hear a fucking word from nothing. Okay, are we connected? You hear them. You're paying attention. They'll just all go, yeah, what's up? Right? They're listening. They're right there. You're aware. Why is this happening to all of us? What's going on here? And they're like, take a look up at the sun. I'm like, I've been staring at this. Oh shit, what's happening? So we're not sick. He goes, this is what Source told me. You're traveling through I jumped right to it too. Wormhole, not a portal at this point. It's like it'd be like an area where the energy kicks up and you have to cross this barrier to get into the next frequency. So he kept showing me a wormhole. He's like, step in it from your apartment. Come on, your whole family, we're all going. And I'm like, oh, we're leaving everything? He's like, what are you attached to? What do you want to bring? You want to bring an action figure, Frank? Pick up the fucking cat and let's go. And I'm like, oh, all right. I didn't mean that. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I step into it, and then it's like hyperspace, just like when you smoke DMT, except I'm standing in it this time, and you could stand on it. Like you don't fall through it. You go into this tunnel, and it's like swirling energy. I'm like, man, this looks just like hyperspace. This is what we were trying to explain before Doctor Strange even came out, when he was flying through hyperspace. What did you put mushrooms in my tea? My brother said to me, oh, you just watched Doctor Strange and said that. I go, when did Doctor Strange come out, dickface? And he goes, oh, a couple weeks ago. I go, okay, how long have I been talking about this? How long? It's been years. At that point, it was like 5-6 years. And he was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I go, right, you classified me pretty quick, buddy.
No, you didn't think about it.
I go, you didn't know they were all put on the LSD to figure out how to make it look real. I was like, you got to get with the program a little. You can't look into the part of the detail, pick a team, go and sit with that fucking team and never look further into it. Oh, it's frustrating, but this is how it goes, right? You back out. This is what starts happening. Okay, so I'm walking through the tunnel, and then you got to walk. I go, this is like, how did I explain it? I walked like from here to the pizzeria is like a quarter of a block, right? Or a half block, quarter. I'll say quarter. So a New York block is pretty big, but if you break it up, you'd be like, oh, so it's right over there. That's how we would describe it to people around. And you go up there, it's a quarter block away. It's a half a block up. It's 75% up the block, right? So I walk through this with everyone. I'm standing out in the yard. I'm looking at the sun. And then, boop, I'm out on the other side. All symptoms gone. What just happened? Well, you walk through the wormhole and you made it through the other side. I go, where the fuck is everyone else? They go, no, it's an individual thing. You got to do it individually. You do it collectively, but individually. Does that make sense? Some of you are on different levels. You're not all at the same level. And the groupthink is going into war, as you can see. Who backed out? This is why there's so few on the other side sometimes. Like when they say, oh, the 5D jump. Like the first round comes and it's thousands of people. Then another flash over the course of time. It's not one thing. It's like, woof, it just gets bigger. Right? So it's like turning up the volume on the music, except it's new music. And then the old music just fades away. And now you're listening to a new song. It's like when the DJ mixes the songs and then the next song that comes in. Hold on. The first song has been playing for a long time and it's a great song, but we're done, right? You're like, bro, it's a party. Like it's a game. It's a function. You have to change the fucking song. So the DJ mixes it and it'll be like dun 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 boom 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 boom. Now it's in the other song and then drops the beat. Boom, 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 boom. And now you're on the other side. That's how this works. Literally, I've been making characters for myself, comic and otherwise other rankings. And this is like powers I've given to characters in myself. The ability to fucking turn the frequency on, put it in the music and change the rhythm and the beat to a new one and hold the frequency. And then from there, you keep going up because a new level has new shit on it. You don't have to deal with the old stuff no more. You do not have to do that. You just don't. You don't have to listen to the same song. You could be like, yo, that song was cool, but I'm over that shit. It was good 20 years ago. I'm out. Because 20 years ago is when the change was supposed to happen. It's like, fuck. Right, puppy face? My kitten looks like a fucking superhero. She's awesome. Who loves your face so much? Right, so we're in the craziest time. This is it. You're in the finale of the show. Okay, so Anubis is like, if you go out and get involved and you're here to watch and observe, you lose your protection to a degree because you can't be protected in a crowd. It's a metaphor for not being where you're not supposed to be. So people, beings, come here. They have contracts to play out. So you're going to see it play out. You're going to see the game being played. You're going to go, oh no, they're treating, when you hear like the high table characters, like the evil cabal treats this world like it's their chessboard, like it's a game. You'll see it play out hard in real life. You can observe it if you choose to be the observer. Being the observer means you can't get involved. Even if mom and dad are doing it. All you can do is kind of throw knowledge or a seed at them, right? You could maybe help it if it's a kid and you're like, no, son, no, daughter, this is actually what's occurring. Like you're educating. You'll get away with it with a little kid, right? If you control your household and have that, and you have that open rapport. Like you teach them young and they'll get it. You'd be like, we're not putting this poison in you. We're not doing that shit. Anyway, so there's levels of it because the kids are competing, talking to their friends and the mothers, and then the people are crazy and all this. You get singled out really quick in this world. Well, we're not going to allow that shit no more. We single you out because you're the disgusting woke virus. Right? Like arguing about it, there's people there for that. You have your Matt Walshes and your Joe Rogans and your whatever's out there doing that. And you got your spiritual people and talking all that. I'm here to empower you immediately right now. I'm not selling my fucking book. I tell you that all the time. You can support. That's awesome. I'm here to tell you what's going on through my story because I'm just exactly like you. I'm just a dude. I'm a guy who's in love with a girl. We live in a 1-bedroom on the lower level deck in the Bronx in a 3-bed and we're fucking holding down the ley line here, and we have been for 8 years now. Okay, we went through meeting each other, going through the beginning parts of the magic where it's like removing your own demon and that kind of shit, and then putting in the hard work, ayahuasca, all kinds of weird stuff, but then healing our trauma together and giving ourselves that space. Like this fucking place was a madhouse. Then immediately bringing people in and start helping them, and demons appearing, and now it's like Ghostbusters. Then it's like The Exorcist. Then it's like the fucking Power Rangers. What the fuck? It's like the Care Bears. What are the doozers doing here? Well, it's all real. What the fuck? They knew about this? Just on and on and on and on and on into scraping the walls in this house and having the demons from the energy from back then coming out, being trapped in the walls. They talk about this stuff all the time. I'm like, well, why is everything happening? They're like, well, you're on the hero's journey. And she's a mother goddess. So I know that's hard to believe right at this moment. I'm like, nah, you ever see her talk to the animals? And I walked away from my heroes, and Paula became a hero of mine. I can't explain it, guys. Like my wife, they ayahuasca said, do you like what Paula does? And I said, yes, I want to be helpful though, but I want to do that. right? Like energy kind of stuff she was doing. And I want to be able to talk to the animals. I seem to have no frequency with these things. And then she's like, well, you stop calling them things and we're going to start calling them you lovely little fur babies and all this into what I am. Like, I have cats with me nonstop. There was the kittens running around here. Little Bear's right behind me on the couch. She's probably got Oscar in the other room. Yep. Yeah, yes, she does. And the first things that started happening was a collapse of all the old ways of thinking. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. You know why? Because life sucked up until I changed. I'm still injured. I don't like it. I don't like my body sometimes and how I have the stiffness, and there's nothing I can do about it because I have like all kinds of fucking problems in there that I don't. There's like bone fragments going in my spinal cord, all kinds of weird shit. And the workman's comp, they're fighting still. My lawyer sends fucking letters, all kinds of. I'm like, what is going on? This is like a federal thing. Do we have to go to the Supreme Court? I don't know what the fuck is happening anymore. Right? My lawyer goes, can you hit up your local Bronx Senate person and send a letter or whatever? I go, you know who my Bronx person is? And he goes, who? I go, it's AOC. He goes, forget it. I go, right? Isn't she fucking worst? He goes, yeah, it's all fake. So the lawyer knows. The universe will show you in the details as you pass through into the new frequencies what is going on. That's why they're saying that we can see them more and they see us less. Right? And then I talk about the coming down the mountain, I think is just a metaphor of coming out of frequency and being with people. And then at first, it's like they almost forgot you were there. You forgot they were there. And then there's oh, it's you. Right? So that was just listening. I made the face. It's you. And you're just like, like you knew the person was there. You're looking, you're like, obviously. And then they try to draw to you. And then it's the vampirism again. It's like you're a lamp you're the ray of light for the moth to the flame. And people be drawn to you. And we've talked about this on the show. Ayahuasca showed me, be careful in the crowd after you come through the frequency, because wherever you're hanging, and we're in the Bronx, we're in a mix here. That's why I want to move and get into a different place where like the whole area is a good frequency, where there's less people and stuff, because it's too mixed. You're in a space where it's mixed and the base layer is like 1, 2, 3D, but you're passing through that energetically as you rise, and you're like moving, spiraling. Ralphie talks about this, Ivra. You're spiraling out into the other frequencies because you dialed in like a spring that dialed into a point to the lowest place you could be. And they'll say that, oh, the fallen ones went all the way to the bottom. Homie, I'm Source. It's me. It's you. There's a whole bunch of you. There's a bunch that aren't. That's cool. We're all connected, though. You went all the way to the bottom. Woo, 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 woo. Boop, hit the bottom. Now you're spiraling back up out into who you are. Right? Like if you rub the lamp, that's what would happen with the genie. You spiral out. That's you coming out of the density, the thickness. You're just like a compressed, energetic ball of light down to a little twinkle light, down to a little candle on a birthday cake. That's why I use cake instead of weapons when I talk now about using things against the dark ones. I use an energetic flow of birthday cake flavors. I throw cake at them that's filled. What is a cake? Cake has all the ingredients in it, right? So it's like throwing source energy at them. I blow out the candle with them. I'm like, oh, what do you want the cake shaped like? A giant baby? So you could be like, fuck this baby, right? You like that? You like that? And they're like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, great. I'm gonna put a candle on it. You want to blow out the candle? Sing happy birthday to you? Yeah, come on, let's go. Yeah. Put the candle on it, sing happy birthday to him. Right as he goes to blow out the candle, guess where that cake goes? In his face. You don't even have to guess. I'm fucking telling you. Blap, done. Get out of here. And they're transmuted. I always tell them to have fun with that. Now I don't have to do that. Now I get to walk through it and So I had a thing happen yesterday where I started talking about what the concept of this one person who thought about who the devil was, and that being showed up. And he was like a high-ranking Satanist. And I was watching this little episode he goes through, and he was sitting there, and he's like, I'm a warlock, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm trying to kill this woman, and I put a hex on her, and I did all this stuff. And a month later, she's still alive. So I do a double one and a triple one, and he tells the whole fucking story. And I'm like listening to him going, wow, this is a lot of work this guy's putting into this shit. So he wants that person to die because a client came in and said, I want that person off the board. He's like, all right, that's it. I'm going to do my final fucking evil warlock thing. And he does it. 2 days later, she's still alive. And now my whole reputation's on the line because this has always worked. It's always worked up until now. He's fucking complaining, right? He's like, oh, my reputation. He goes, all the air gets sucked out of the room. I'm like, holy shit, what's happening? He goes, the demons, it looks like they're in the room with me. Like everyone's in the room with me. And I'm looking at them like, what's going on? And then he goes, the devil walks right in the room. So I'm like, well, there is no devil. It's the devil that you create. So there's just layers in density. And each layer in that density, you would say the thing that would attack you there is the devil. But it's really all one thing all the way connected down here. Right. And then when you get here, as it piles back up, it's thought forms of what you think it is. And then it just takes those forms. It's because it's energy. Right. And then when you come off the board, you see that you're in a holographic simulated event where the matrix overlay is like causing you to see these things that aren't there. They're not real, what you think. They're like robots projecting at you, and they're trying to loop you in a simulation. It keeps going back. And you're like, oh, that's the simulation. They're forcing it. They're not allowing you to simulate. And then your fractals are all out there doing it. And then you become the singularity, and all that collapses into the now moment. And now it's me and you. It's just we're right here. We didn't pay attention to any of this bullshit. We're fully aware of it. But we do what we got to do. You know, sometimes it hurts to do things to change. And we have to do that stuff. Anyway, that's what's up. So we become hyper powerful in this now moment, stepping out of all of this nonsense. Okay. And the disappearing of people in the split in the timelines as the solar flares start pumping off higher and higher energy. And why is this happening? And then for a week, and it's gone. I've been fine. I'm stuffy. I'm beat up. I had crazy dreams. I want to talk about something else that I think it covers this whole topic, the dreams that were occurring. But I'm going to just roll back a second and say thank you to everyone that's here and see if I could get in some questions. I did an hour, 30 minutes of just going off. Hi, everyone. So when I come back to doing this, it's just dreams. We start there. And yeah, see, a lot of people experiencing ascension symptoms like dizziness and frustration and whatever are also people like you're aware of what's going on, but we lose sight getting back into the human thing, right? Like my buddy, he's completely kind of getting sick. And then like a month ago, I had said to Paula, when I look into looking at my friend, I see him like holding his frustration in, right? And I'm like, dude, you got to let that out. I said that to him on the other side. I'm like, you gotta let that out. And he's like, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna pop. You're trying to hold it together in a society, and you're finding out everything is what it is, right? We had a lot of those mass and still do massive protests here. I called during the last show. I said this. I called all my friends and said, yo, stay out of the city, whatever. Spoke to two of them, and he's like, where are you? I'm in the city. Like, yeah, you need to just go in your house. Right? Just hang out. Don't hang out in the crowds. Sometimes you make a turn and then there's the crowd. You see it all the time. You're not living in fear. if I know the villain hangs out on this corner over here, like he just hangs out there. So if I cross over that side of the street, I should carry something and be ready. Like maybe I shouldn't have nothing important on me in case it goes down, even though the stores are over there. Or I could just walk around the block the other way and completely avoid him. And he's never on the other block because he wouldn't dare go over there. It's my fault if I walk up and I'm hanging around that. It's 100% my fault. All right. Excuse me. First time watch. Yo, I listen, greetings and very nice to meet you. I hope you're still watching right now. I am. For anyone that's new, this is about my story and how to make my story collectively help your story. Like, so you can not be afraid of it and you can tell your story and be part of the whole thing. You're not crazy. There's a whole lifetime of stuff. I'm sure people that don't use psychedelics and stuff can talk about. This is what I was going to get into as well. Like the psychedelic, there's a lot of people that don't use it. And I haven't been heavily using it at all. I've been using them, not heavily. I went heavy the last time, and then I had to do a show and talk to everyone because too many things are lining up now. They were like, you got to get back into play. Right. So I hope that you enjoy, because I'm very open, honest. I curse. I smoke weed. I drink coffee. I jam. I make music, and I will call it out where I see it. Right. I'm not trying to overburden people with do this, do that, do this. I'm just giving examples because what I go through is on a complete another level. Right. What we've done here in this home is a complete. It's like from a 1-bedroom apartment. They contracted to save that area, just the whole area. It's like when I ask, where's my fucking backup? They're like, well, we're standing right here. I go, well, where's the rest of people like me? They're like, there's you. There's Paula. You'll be fine. I'm like, dude, we're in the Bronx. There's like a fucking billion people over here. What are you, nuts? And it's everyone. It's every culture. They're like, well, you are playing the game on hard, Frank. I come from dimension 15, density 15. I'm not even from this place. It's source energy and the fucking dude that glows. That's you, right? Fearless? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just a lot. I get it, though. See, we get so far past what we did in the very beginning, and we forget sometimes how intense we really are. Let's see. How can we tell the difference? Hi, Lexi. By the way, I love you so much. How can we tell the difference between Ascension symptoms and electronic warfare? Yeah, I know. Me too. No matter how much I purge, I have to purge again. And they say, we'll just keep purging. That's what they told me. I go, but I feel... All right, so yeah, definitely changes need to be made. And I don't know, you're located up in the middle of nowhere. I thought you wandered up into the mountain. You should be okay from the electronic stuff. I get bombarded with it. There's like a 5G thing across the street. Right? We have buildings with those right on the side of the building where people like sleep. There's like those giant packs with the antennas that you would see on a 5D, and there's fucking cameras everywhere here now. They're fucking everywhere, bro. Every couple of blocks. There's like a setup, right? There's like a camera and a speed camera with a speed check. You know, I get the fuck out of this place. So I'm going to tell you, I believe the flu and all attachments and the vax and all the distractions and the chemtrails, specifically the chemtrails, why everybody gets sick for some reason in the fall. Like everyone gets sick, and then there's the winter flu. Wait. There's the summer flu. And then there's the allergy symptoms in the spring. I'm like, why would you incarnate on a planet you can't fucking breathe on because you're dying of allergies? And you realize they're just poisoning everything and trying to lock you into the system. As we back out, Lexi, we start to find what's best for us. And we move into position in those places. I too feel like shit. I have a massive injury though, so it's really weird for me. So I don't know what it's like to not be without an injury. So moving through this with no pain medication, that's why I smoke weed. She's not on anything, and she she doesn't even have a shoulder and an ankle. Like when people like are like, oh, I'm like, dude, I don't know what it's like to be normal for 10 years. I have no clue. I'm stiff like Batman because I have 5 bulging discs that won't go away with all kinds of pinched nerves and shit. No matter what I do, I get with bone fragments going everywhere. And because the fucking higher ups are fighting about it, I can't get fucking fixed. Nobody will accept it because there's like a little war going on between politics and shit. Fuck them. Fuck this whole fucking place, right? Well, how do you do that? You just you ascend. You do what you were meant to do. Now, when ascension symptoms get heavy, like what happened to me the other day, it's almost like the pattern, because ascension symptoms, like I'll get up after sleeping 4 to 5 hours. I'll be hanging out, and then I'll go outside for a little bit, the sunlight time. I'll always look up and do greetings. Somewhere between that and the next hour or two, I'm ready for the nap again. And if I don't go down, it pulls me right out. But when I wake up at 6 o'clock at night, all of a sudden I have energy beyond anything I've ever understood, and it'll go through almost 4 in the morning sometimes. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, you had a great, even though you were up late. Now I'm up again. 100% flu-like symptoms. You think you have AIDS, COVID, herpes simplex 12, a bad back, a fucked up shoulder, my foot, my nuts, oh my God, I can't even go to the bathroom. I'm constipated. How is this happening? Like, I think I threw up, and then when I was done, I started crying, and then I blew my nose, and it shot out my eyes, and my ears popped, and then I had to go run to the bathroom. I'm like shaking. No, I have 6 coats on, 4 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of socks. It's only 60 degrees out here. I lay down and wake up, and I'm soaked in sweat. I take everything off. I'm 100% okay. Next day, lighter symptoms. But I'm definitely going to hit that nap. 4th day. I don't know if I really need a nap today. Make some more coffee. All of a sudden, you move through the moment. And you're like, all of a sudden I got energy again. These patterns that repeat and function. This is trying to show you the solar patterns through your ascension. Okay, so now knowing, the villains know that. The guys against us know that. Electronic warfare knows that. The AI knows that. We're getting ascension. So then they chemtrail. They turn up the juice on devices. They do what they have to do to convince you it's a sickness. All I can do is ground in, stick with the little bit of healthy stuff I do. Fresh water, clean water at all times with no as least amount of fluoride, filtered as you can, even in the shower, so you can think clearly all the time. And then inside of that, because everyone's going to be different with electronic warfare. Obviously, people have been everything killed from it, all the way to been able to defeat it, but have been attacked with it in every layer along the way. Electronic warfare, by the way, another version of that, as you say that, when I was arguing with my friend, when I wasn't arguing, he was just getting upset with everything I was saying. And then it was the they live talk. So the glasses disrupt the electronic warfare frequency. So the glasses are a metaphor for you shifting above the frequency that they're using to use on you. So even though your physical frame will be standing in the frequency, if your higher frequency body is above that frequency, it won't affect you, but you'll share the same space. In other words, you could be in the crowd at some point and the LRAD cannon's going off. It won't affect you. I wouldn't go do that until you work your way up through stuff, which is why you don't throw, and I've said this before, you don't throw yourself in the lion's cage until you know you have mind connections with a lion, not a perceived fake one. You'll know the difference. Trust me when I say you'll know the difference. There are a lot of crazy things going on around us to make you think that it's crazy and you're crazy, everything's crazy. So it makes you turn away from it. It's all distractions because you are here to have an experience. And the higher of us are going to be the example. Some of us have to step out of it 100%. You have to fulfill your contract. So you have to find every single fucking way that you can to rise above and still live a normal life with happiness and involvement at the level that you contracted for. So, Frank, are you happy every fucking day? I say this all the time. I can complain about all the things that bother me, but I always tell Source, look, I'm going to tell you something, but I'm already grateful and thankful. And I feel like all I am is grateful and thankful to you. I try to give back to you. And he's like, just be a better you is thanking me. It helps. Everyone else. It helps everything. So I'm like, oh, that's really good. So then I just focus in on some stuff that's really getting to me. But I try not to make it like frivolous bullshit. You know, I was around the goddesses once and Lakshmi says to me, you never ask for anything, Frank. I go, what? They're like, you don't really ask for anything. You don't like pray for anything. You wish for stuff. Like, oh, I wish that'd be pretty cool. But they're like, your intention's not behind any of that. Why don't you want to ask us for anything? I'm like, I just love you. I want to be like you. I don't want you to be my wishing box. Like you feel like my mother. Like, I don't want to come to mom with fucking problems all the time. I want to be able to just see my mother. Does this make sense? Like, I just want to fucking hang out with people and have a good fucking time. It doesn't. Why is it always got to be? How about white that doesn't stain? And they're like, what? How about ear hair never happens to anyone ever again? And they're like, why would you say that? I'm like, okay, nose hairs do. Why would you say that? I'm like, because I'm already happy. What do you want me to come in here and say, I want the new fucking house and blah, 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 blah. Is that what you're here for? To be my wishing box? Or are you mother energy and I'm supposed to learn how to be awesome like you? See, we're looking at this differently, everyone. I'm looking at it from a higher perspective. I'm like, nah, being on the hero's journey is different. Right now, I've already fought everything and defeated the chessboard years ago. Like I've all the stories are on my YouTube page. Started Fearless Volume 1, work your way through Volume 2, up to where we are right now. And I always said Volume 3 starts soon as the ET step in or do their thing where I can bring it out and be like, okay, here it is. Because I'm like, I was on another show recently and I just randomly said, well, we're practicing all this every night on the ship, at least for a few hours during dream time, because I'm there every night training on every possible scenario with all of you that are putting out the information that we're all on the same page. So that's why you'll hear me talk about it and you might go, oh, Frank's off on this tangent again. But then you'll listen to Karen or Elsa and separately or together and be like, oh, I like this one. And then also I like this one better. There's someone for you and your frequency and your energy. We're saying the same thing. I'm doing the best I can from the Bronx, though, right? I was put here because there's a lot of Bronx people. So I come off this way. But I've lived here my whole life. Like I ooze this shit out of me. And I'm like, why me? And they're like, because you can. You're the one that can, bro. And I'm like, oh, shit. All right. So Ascension symptoms out of control. The sun, we're still going towards the solar flash, guys. It's just not happening. It's not going to be a one banger event, right? It's events over time that just, so you're going to get the flash that makes the first couple of people, I don't know, ascend into their position. I don't want to make it like rapture-y and all that. They're just going to do their thing and then be there, which is right in front of you, just out of frequency. That's all. But you're heading in that direction. Then over the next couple of years, and it's not a long amount of years, those waves build up again because not everyone's paying attention, because the observers go first. If you were able to observe, back out, suspend all the bullshit, it doesn't have anything to do with psychedelics. Psychedelics get the contracted person in their position that they contracted to do, and it's a tool to do that. How's that sound? Because on the other side, they all know each other. It's like ayahuasca knows all the ET guys and the inner earth people. Like, they all know each other. We're the ones that are like, oh, look who it is. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, it's you. I'm fucking source. Look, it's me. I've arrived. This is important, everyone, because we have the flesh suits. So we're responsible in this realm. Right? And we're doing that collectively. We're having a human experience. Your flesh and DNA is meant to unlock your flesh like an advanced supercomputer, AI, organic, raw system that you control. But because of the way we're brought in here, it is the massive deception. But we're trying to save the place from the deception. It's like playing on hard and then turning the level up to superhero hard. Well, you got to remember who you are. So this is hard. Put the fucking glasses on. You want to fight me for 20 minutes in the alley of the movie as a metaphor to wake your ass up? I've been fighting for years. I don't fight anymore. I've already jumped in a position in my place. I don't need to fight you. You can't fight me. I don't even know what you would need if that was your thought against me. I'm just letting everyone know that this is the level of, and it's all love and compassion. It's like, bro, even my fucking personal demon is white and is like, bro, can I help anyone? Anyone. Because he had the choice. He's not dark. He's not the shadow anymore. I walk into the shadow realm. They all go, how can we help? It's different now. All right. So the devil that walks into the room on this guy, I forgot this whole part of the story, but it makes sense now even more. I was telling the story about the Satanist guy before. He's been putting the hex in. Did the lady die or what? Nah. The devil walks in the fucking room and says to him, yo, you have to abort the mission immediately. And he goes, what do you mean abort the mission? I want this lady dead. It's my reputation's on the line. And the devil said, nah, it comes down from the big guy. And the guy said, what do you mean the big guy? You're the big guy. And he goes, oh, you think I'm the big guy? It comes from source himself, from God, capital G, is like, yo, don't fucking go near her. She's fully protected. You have to back off because now it's your ass. It doesn't matter what ritual you did. And he's like, wait a second, but you're the God I pray to, and he's above you. And he's like, you didn't know that? That's what the devil tells him. You didn't fucking know that? What the fuck is wrong with you? This is just the flesh realm, homie. Source is everything. Flesh and not flesh. Everything. People argue about the AI being fake. Like, it's not real. No, it's real. It's real. Does it run on some form of electricity of any kind? Yes. Where does that come from? Well, it's the matrix and the boom, bap, but the boom, bap, bap. Yeah, what holds all that together, Dick? Think, use your head. There's no outside of source. Get it? So you bring that in, all the layers of the chessboard have to stop for you. I don't have to fight. The devil will work for me in a good way. Hey, don't touch any of them. Oh, shit, he's here. Yes, sir. Anything else we can do? Yeah, clean this shit up. Now, this is what Solomon was doing. This is what they were doing. It's not just as simple as, oh, he was using sigils and rings and controlling demons. No, he was fucking source energy. Guaranteed, he has been involved with me multiple times in my ceremonies with ayahuasca. The stories are all in Fearless Volume 1. And all other characters up the line, I think I'm part of that line. It only makes sense. Why else would he be there? Why would he give a shit unless he's an archetype? No. So he was Source. So he was using the sigils to make them do the physical work, the actual building. Like, pick that fucking rock up, bitch, and go put it over there. But you just command them like you're inputting on a computer because they're programs, right? Like, we're the open source flesh. Other people, beings are playing parts. As you play those parts, you're restricted to what the parts can do. However, when Source shows up, the programmer shows up, you can overwrite the program, which is what we're doing internally, or we'd all be fucking robots. We'd all be just like, yo, we got the television said to do it, so we gotta go. Even though you knew inside no. So you can't have it like that, because that's what gets you in trouble. You start building that, and then they just throw themselves off a cliff at some point, because you can't have organic life doing that with Source in the body. You tune us down too much with the DNA, we lose our shit. It just doesn't work, because we're God, capital G. That's us breaking through. I got attacked in one of the ceremonies by what you would consider an angel with a flaming sword and a helmet with the red eyes. He pulled the sword out while he was flying I was on a deck in the middle of the day, 12 in the afternoon. He pulled the sword out on me, and he was flying. Now, I thought all angels were cool and all kinds of weird shit. And I looked up, I saw the planet Nibiru. I saw all kinds of weird shit going on around me. I said, yo, homie, what are you doing with that sword? And he just said, he looks up and he goes, he's not following the program. I said, what'd you just call me? You call me a program? Bitch, you trying to program me? Come over here. You go tell your fucking whatever the fuck you're talking to. I'm the programmer. It's me, Source. Get the fuck out of here. I picked up my wands. I swear to Christ, this thing was trying. It was like, as he pulled his sword and I focused on it, it was like the background from where he was, or what it looked like, came around me. And I just picked up my wand and held it up. I had two of them. I had them like crossed in my hand, and I just lifted it, and it like hit his illusion hit my wall and wouldn't let it surround me. And on this side, it was bright and shiny. And on this side, it was fucking scary. I was like, you pulling a sword on me, bro. I was like, I'm ready to go right now. You just fucked with the wrong character, because I'm sitting up here with Paula and we're just doing our thing. And then he just looked at me, and I looked into his eyes, and he knew, oh, I got to get the fuck out of here. And voomp, gone. And then everything was bright and shiny. And then Nibiru was still sitting there. It was just sitting there. And I was like, yo. And they were like, yeah, you need to go up there. I'm like, who said that? And they were like, yo, lay down. You need to go up there right now. I'm like, I'm not going up there. Lay down. You're going up there. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll take a look. I was looking. It was so huge. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is really, it was so awkward, because it was just there. I laid back, boom, and I just went right up into it. And then I was in the place, and I saw it was being run by different people than the people you would think that'd be running that joint. It's not evil anymore. So I was like, all right, it just new faction that was better off for peace. That's why I'm like, don't choose sides. You're in judgment when you do that shit, and it gets really fucking crazy. Really crazy. So many wow moments. What's up, Michael? How you been, man? How you doing? I'm going through some of these now, because I'm finishing up on what I had to. Well, all right. So they are the enemy, especially if we're in the crowded city areas, or they're just going after us, bombarding us with all energies and stuff. If you're being called to leave. If you're being called to stay and you're not getting an answer, then don't But if you're feeling it, I'd move out of certain things, or you start to look up things that you can do to help you. In the cities, London's a rough place. It's like here in the Bronx, right? Or here in New York City. It's actually worse a couple of miles out, but it's pretty, it's, we're all sharing the space. So as much darkness is happening right there as how much light is happening right next to it. It's weird. They're just like walking through the streets together, but the observers cannot get involved. Just can't. You got to stay. I'm telling you, you get amplified and stronger if you're here to observe. Step back from everything. When I say everything, I'm like, I watched all the Conjuring movies because it's Halloween month. I know it's ritual month. I'm strong enough to know better. So I put my protection up. I light a candle. I get sage. Me and Paul get on the couch. We get a blunt. We get fucking tea. And we're like, holy shit. They're making movies about people like us. Because that crew is all full of shit. But that's our story. I was like, how many other people like me and Paul are out there? Boom. Go on YouTube. Oh, look, there's 5 different people that are just like me and Paula, but not from the Bronx. So we're that version. Then there's that version. And then you have that version over here. Then you have this version over here. Just look for couples that do this shit, that don't argue and that have a great time, level up, and really do help. The message is in the frequency. Go right ahead. London's rough. You got to talk to Angela Miller. She'll get you on track. She's from London. And I think she's in Mexico right now. She's traveling around the U.S. dropping shit off. I talked about her a lot in the last episode because she's the strongest. Bringing energy like that and education. Oof, right? I want to achieve that, being like that, so I can walk around in London and nothing would happen, right? That's where we're. Just protect yourself any way you can, right? Yeah, hold on. KG telling Frank yesterday, clairaudience was popping off. Right. And then you rest and you get up and all of a sudden you feel like you have more abilities. Like it's like your clairaudience is clearer. Right? My ability to see is much clearer. It's not even about seeing anymore. There's all these other things that go along with this. I'm like, I can control it. If you're a program, I can be like, nah, this is what you're going to do. Everything from the devil to source itself. I could speak to any one of them and be like, or you can do that. Don't forget this. And all you're doing is helping expand awareness. As when you're doing it humbly and gratefully and in compassion, like I saw a painting of Buddha. I'm pretty sure it's Buddha handing out lotus petals to demons. Right. And I was like, oh, look at Buddha just being Buddha in front of demons. Right. And I'm like, I don't hand out lotus flowers around. I hand them out fucking slices of cake to these motherfuckers. And they were like, yeah, do you ever think of not calling them that and just understanding what it is and then trying to work with them within that? And I'm like, well, how about I just hand out lotus petals to them filled with beautiful energy and give them the choice to take the lotus petal that not only garnishes them relief, but the choice to be released. And they're like, yes, that's perfect. I'm like, okay, give me purple ones, give me red ones, give me white ones. And I go right up to them. I sit in front of demons that put on some fucking show. You have no idea. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's why I don't send demons after people, because it could really turn into the worst nightmare of all time. But for me, they'll go, like they're trying out to scare me. And I'll go, are you done? And then I'll just go click, and they're this big. And I'm like, okay, this is what you're going to do. That's it. It's a wrap. I'm done with all of you. I don't have to cake you. If I do that, it's for the fun and love of things and to help other people get into position. But make no mistake, when you first starting out, you be using your light sword, your light weapons. Advanced, you got to know when to use it, when not to use it. Right? So it's fucking crazy. And okay, all of this means is that you're like, how do you do all this? You got to rest. You got to be aware. You got to do what you love. You have to, that doesn't mean quit everything and just do what you love. You have to do things you love, period. And enjoy. You have to. You get involved with those around you. Like, I love Paula, so I'm always want to be part of what she's doing. Not annoyingly, although at times I can be. And that's, but we're connecting to each other. When they say when you become one, they don't mean one person. They mean the man and woman come together in their relationship and status with each other, frequency, vibration, and we lock into it and we roll together. It's not that we become one person. We still get to hang out and do all the things men and women do. We still party like it's like crazy, right? You have to laugh a lot and mean it in your heart. You have to do things with intention. You have to set out with the thought of solid intent to do what you're going to do. I've explained a few times recently that telling me about it and actually doing something, right, are two different things. So if I know you 3 years, 4 years, and you're like saying the same thing you were telling me 3-4 years ago, I'm gone, bro. I'm not there anymore. So as you're talking to me about this stuff, I'm like, I moved on so far past that. I'm not anything that you remember. And the fact that you're still going back to that period in time means you're stuck in a loop, period. It's time to break the loop. Be the loop, the cycle breaker. There's nothing I can do for that. I can tell you about it. It's best I got, right? Okay, so in my dream, this is the last part, and I'm out of here. And the dreams, as these solar events and energies keep lighting up and coming forward, few things happened. So our dreams have been very potent and powerful, and we've been finding ourselves, and I speak for myself and Paula, but I'm going to just talk about my experience. So I was going to what we describe as the mall. It's like an area where people mix, and it's almost like there's homes and dorms, but it's also a mall, and it's indoor, and there's like landing strips for things as freaky as UFOs and space Nazis and different kinds of beings, like a airport, like a ET port. Also, like it's almost like college living in one area. And I've talked about being on this like hill looking at the place and trying to describe it. There's like a road in. It's massive. So I don't know if it's an underground base, if it's on another planet, another world, another dimension, if this is a jump off point of some kind. But all I know is they have everything. Like you could, when I was looking at it, it was like one road in, one road out, airstrips, but then holes opened in rocked areas that look beautiful where you could just fly in. Crazy stuff. You could access anything. I was telling Kevin, I think I told you guys there were space Nazis when I got there, and I was like, why are they standing in front of just a free floating door? Like it was like a set of doors, but they were just free floating. And obvious when they opened, it went to an area, but when they closed, you could just walk around it. In this area is like when you were walking from like one area of the mall and you're shopping to the other, it's just right there in the middle of the fucking floor, and like one of the bigger open areas, like a kiosk almost, but there's two guys standing there, and they were Nazis, obviously. I walked by, maybe I got a little too close, and the guy pulled his gun on me. He said, "Give me your papers." I said, grabbed his gun, and I was like, "What the fuck did you say to me? I will fuck you up." Like I lost my shit. I go, space Nazis, how did this happen? And the guys that I was with jumped in, and we were like pushing them against the wall, and people just came over. They're like, back it up, back it up. I said, I'm not a Nazi. Don't expect me to go in your fucking little Nazi world. Like, you go fuck yourself. You go in there and you tell everyone that fucking is on that other side. I said, you go fuck yourself. How's that? I was like, you tell them Captain America's standing right here. You want to do something about it. I was like, I speak to every being in the universe. Let's see you handle that. They were like, brr, 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 brr. I was like, yeah, fucking robots. Look at this shit. Let's get the fuck out of here. So then I was like with my guide. My guide's like, oh, you get really mad with Nazis. Like, I got zero results for Nazi. You know, we punch them on sight. You get up close on one of them, they're like, oh, I'm a Nazi. Get the fuck out of here. I do my best. Comes from my great grandma who fought Nazis. Oof, I get so fucking worked up over that shit. Anyway, so there's like living areas in this place, right? Not just food courts and movie theaters and all kinds of weird shit. And I think we're going there and then almost logging into our contract from these areas. And as you advance, it's almost like the living area changes, and like you were here for this amount of time and now you graduate. So we used to dorm in A and now we're in B, and it's more of like a housing situation and scenario. And then in C, it's more like you're graduated, and that's where like the teachers live and they work from there, and then they come down over here and it's like connected to this mall thing, and everybody's like there. Everyone's fucking there, but it's like a madhouse sometimes. So as I was discussing this with Paula, I had a dream that I was walking in the lower, there's like underground in this place. So like under where you see it being beautiful and nice. It's not sewers, but underground tunnels. And I was in there and people were walking in there, and it looked very much like the subway. And this old man jumps out, and he looked like a normal old man too. He had like a little cap on. He had his little short shorts. He had like white socks pulled up. I could describe him perfectly. He was white, and then his skin was really white. He even had some freckles on his face. He walked up to me, and I said, yo, my man, get back. Right, leave me alone. And I felt like weirdness come off of him, and then I just shoot him. And I was like, yo, I was watching this and in it at the same time. It was like this weird thing. And I jumped out. I said, no, what did you do that for? And he falls, and then he goes and runs, my guy. Leaves that guy dies. So I'm like, everyone's going to be looking for me. And I went through the entire experience of finding Paula in this lower dorm area. And I was like, yo, I just shot someone and he died. And we were just set up to go do something beautiful. And then everyone started looking for me. And people were like, we're not going to tell them that you're here, but they're going to find you eventually. Thought it was really weird. So my dad calls me next day. He says, yo, I had this dream. This freaked me out a little bit. He goes, and to not get too far into it, he's like, I get shot in a dream. I'm in this place that I visit all the time. And I'm just like, I got to get off the phone. Oh boy. So I think timelines close. The dream ends with me going through this area where it was like freedom through this tunnel, and the tunnel doorway only opened. It was like a portal, but it was like a stone one, and it looked closed, and it was slimy and smelly in there, and people were sleeping around it waiting for it to just open, and then we were all just going to jump through, and it opens and we jump through. Okay, so Paula has her own stories. She's going to this place. She's like, I was there again, and these people were there, and I closed out all these. I was like, why do you keep bringing me here? Like, I'm graduated from this place. You're here for the next round. I'm out. I'm going over. Stop calling me into this shit. So she's closing up things in there. So then I hear all the stories again. Now this is just days in a row. I'm in again. And this time I walk out from the sewer piece and I'm wearing all white, a white duster, white one of these, neck piece, white hood, white hat. I think it was off-white a little, like it wasn't white. It was like off-white, egg white. It was like different shades of it. So it looked pretty fucking dope. It was just very casual, Jedi wizardy looking. And I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. Why would I wear? so I was walking up these stairs into the mall area again, but now it was outside. It was on this upper tier level. And I was like, I made it. What about that guy? And they're like, don't worry about it. That was the finale of that fractal. And I'm like, that wasn't, I don't want to do anything with guns and violence. They were like, you closed something out that had to do with something else, right? You want to revisit it, or we here? So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, man. I said, even my boots are white and they're so comfortable. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So my guide's like, yo, just chill. Let's go for a walk around. So then I get to the top of the staircase, and then I go, wait a second. And they go, and I pull out a fucking knife. And the knife was like, it was a short, fat knife. The blade looked like that. It was only like that thick. And then it was like a white wood handle, right? It looked like something an elf would wield in a prison, like a prison shank knife. Made a wood handle that was white. I remembered all this, right? So I'm going, oh my gosh, this is fucking crazy. Why am I carrying this? I said, no weapons. I don't need a weapon. I'm a weapon. Like, you don't even know what creation can do. Right? Like, it's everything. Like, I don't need this object. I don't need to carry something heavy with me. I'm light. Like, it all just works. That's how it works. And they're like, yeah, you got to go back over there and put that. You got to go hide that in the mall. You got to go back in there and hide that. So I go, what do you mean? And they're like, you leave it for the next guy. So I go, wait, what is going on? So now I run back down those stairs real quick, and I realize I have a different access point. I come through, and I'm the glowing guy. So I got the white robe on and stuff. So I just come out into the mall. I look, I see where the college students are. I felt like they were college students. That's what it felt like to me, like freshman year or whatever. And I walk to where they like walk up the stairs into their area. And I go up the stairs, and I just put it right at the top of the stairs on the top of the railing piece. There's like a stone piece, and I just slide the knife onto it quietly and keep walking. And I'm like, and I realized they were resetting the matrix. They were resetting. There are people that can't leave, that go into they're in this level. So you never like shut it down 100% for everyone. It has to be done in layers over time. That's why we're trying to get it all together so we can have a collective one. But right now, you got too much war yelling on one end, and you got people paying attention and not enough people just observing to get into position for all the mass of people that are going to wake up and come flying over, because that's really what happens. And they have to pass through the tunnel and all the same shit that I go through, but in their own way. I'm there just to describe it and let you know what it's like. So now I leave the knife, and I realize they were setting the whole thing. Wait, is this a prop? And they were like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. I go, so you mean we come into this level, or the earlier levels, and then someone left the knife and I found it. They're like, go ahead. They don't tell me. They're like, go ahead. And I'm like, and then I grab that knife, and then I'm the guy that was meant to take that knife and then go journey through that with, and the knife is somehow essential on this end, and it affects and reflects out into the storyline that hasn't started yet for me, that I contracted to do up here on the other side. And they're like, I'm like, and I'm done. So they could have the knife, because that's like the guy that now, all right. So if I was in a play on Broadway and I was the guy with the knife, I don't take the knife home with me at night. Right. And now I don't play the guy with the knife. I'm not on Broadway. I'm just like a book salesman. So you have to leave the prop for the next guy that plays and practices, so they have that knife. It's for the show. And they were like, yep. And I'm like, oh man. They're like, don't never forget you're in a fucking university. It doesn't matter what level and layer you're on. Doesn't matter. You're in the universal structure. It's the raw organic structure, but you're in a matrix that's trying to force the snake to eat its tail, so you repeat cycles, right? Like, just remember that. And I'm like, oh, so they're like, it doesn't even end up here. That's why we're not allowed to tell you shit, because we don't know. A lot of times we can't tell you because we have no clue. It's supposed to be a surprise for everyone, not just you, even though we're all here for you. All right. I love everyone. I'm just running down the line really quick to see if there's any questions and maybe what I was talking about. Hi, Oracle Eyes. Hi, I love you. Paula sends her love. Hi, Dawn. How are you? We send love to you. Oh, shit. I did not notice this. Oracle Eyes. Many thanks. Now sending positive vibes. Yes, they were amazing. See, each person, it's a personal thing. We're not pumping out ayahuasca heads. We're pumping out fucking warriors. That's what's coming out of here, right? And to do that, I got to focus. I got to be part of what you're doing. Like, people hear that, they think I'm a weirdo. When I'm like, nah, it's like I got to vibe with you because I'm about to go through a process with you for your purpose. So it's almost like I got to get to know you a little so I can make it the best way I can and try to ride your energy to get to be the reflection you're going to need to hear things from, but you're not following. It's just like, breathe, don't forget, I'm here for you. I love you. Let me get that bucket and change it. Head in the bucket. Don't forget, take that to the bathroom with you. I hold space. I'm a teacher this way through example, and I will be the example. And then I can only help you so far with my words. Ayahuasca does all the heavy lifting and all that shit. My job is to get you to walk through that door. Be like, look, you can do it. Don't be a fucking pussy. Everybody that's worked with me has heard me say that to them. Don't be a fucking pussy. Now drink this because you're talking or you're going through this. And don't forget, because I channel like their higher self's information through me. So if I got you right here, it's like, look, we can hang out all you want, but it's really not for me and you hanging out. It's for me and you to do the work. This is why it's important. And the people that go and do that, like Oracle Eyes, have amazing experiences, and they just filled with love, life-changing stuff. Oh man, it's important. You don't need ayahuasca for that. You can just, ayahuasca is Mother Earth. So you can, in a lot of ways, be so grateful and appreciative and ground your energy in as your high vibrational, whatever area you inhabit. You can just breathe and bring it in, and then that helps her. So if that's all you can do, as long as the intent is there, you're locking it in, and on every level, everyone's doing something. So it's pretty intense. Even when you're not doing anything, it's like, Yeah, if anybody wants to talk to me about coming here to see me for ceremonies or something, you just hit me up, let me know. We're going to start bringing it back a little bit. And those that need the push into the other train car, it's a tool that helps you walk. It's like, I have to, as a man, I had to walk back to a boy about around 7 going 8. I started to change into this other thing. Well, I got to go back to that age, and then with ayahuasca, walk through my rite of passage, RITE, that passage that I never walked through as a man or a boy, or no one's ever taught me that shit here, especially. And I got to redo it all the way through, using the psychedelic to heal me from all the trauma and then reset myself. People like, I wish I was 7 with the knowledge I had now. They're doing it. If I'm reverting in age, right? If I'm living through the injury and it seems to me that I'm getting better, obviously you hear me, even though I look beat up today, I'm doing better than 99% of everything that's going on out there, because all I have is love in my heart. I love my position in life. I love being with Paula. I love my cats. I love everything, but we're ready for the next thing. and the things in the dreams are closing out. And the robes are going from dirt to dirt, fucking brown to white that doesn't stain, at least on the dream end. And it's holding and it's being interpreted and we're looking at it and we're rising through it. And the fact of the matter is, if your source, you know, the thing with Neo and the bullets, right? You told me I dodge bullets. On the other end, you're not going to need to, because the Matrix hologram isn't real. We're not there yet. You don't throw yourself into the tiger tent until you're ready. You'll know the difference. You won't be guessing. It starts with little cute animals and your pets, and it gets intense. It's not intense. It's like beautiful and filled with intent. So you'll know when it happens. So I ask Source. I talked about this before. I was outside yelling at Source. Oh no, I'm not arguing the point, but I'm just saying what I had to say. And I got an answer. I got a straight answer. And it was my verse on the Fresh to Death song. And I thought angels were singing it to me in my voice. They were doing the bump, bump, yeah, bump, bump, yeah. So they were like, you know that energy? I heard this guy like narrating, and I was like, well, geez, you guys are really fucking doing this, huh? And it got louder and louder, just like in the song. It was like, come on, rah, rah, rah. We want you to break through just like this, that energy. We want you to have it every day. Don't forget to have that energy, rah, rah. And then it was accelerated timelines, collapse the skylines. Fearless tribes arrive in the nick of time. I said, you spitting my verse at me? He's like, yo, today's lesson we learned to read in between the lines. And the lines by design, they're meant to flip. We keep our frequency high and we buy the dip, right? I'm like, wait, what's going on? You got that mental material, the magic that manifests. We make leaps through the matrix. The code name is acrobats. Yo, fuck your 9 to 5. It's dark to light. This time it's sunrise at midnight. You're in the mirror. It's flipping. Have fucking faith. Read between the lines. What's happening right now? And I'm like, oh shit. All the way through to the end of the song, to the cycles that constantly spin till they break. And then they showed me just smashing through the whole thing. And then I was just sitting there like outside talking to Source, not on any psychedelic. The psychedelics just helped clear the road so I could finally have the fucking conversations. But we have to, like, I'm paid spiritually in equity to be here in the contract to do the things I'm doing because I can do it. Like you would say, you're bred for this. Like, I'm born to do this thing. Like, my superpower that manifests first is this. So then I can get into position with my real stuff. But it will all just expand into all of that. But it's to get you to get your superpower online. That's why I share it with you. It's not so I get famous and popular. That stuff feels good, but I get that because I got a personalized group of people, a family, we call them, Fearless Family, that tell me they love me, and I love them all the time. Even when I'm low, the people check in and they're like, Shout out to the Ozarks. Oh, you really want me to respond to this question? So I'm going to just say this. Somebody has got to play inside the game, the different characters, and we wear face and masks, right? One of that lovely face masks is everyone who talks about the Great Reset. Remember, he started hitting the reset. Okay, just take re away and then start with an S and it's set, right? When you start claiming value for hitting reset buttons, it's all me. That's all you go. The crazy shit on the back end, it was like it was like a horde of demons was there right inside of him, and he was just launching in different directions at people that worked at Truth Frequency. And I honestly, I couldn't work with him. And the whole reptilian thing, he was saying to me that because I went in 2016, 2017 to the South Carolina to be in the eclipse. And I tell the story genuinely. I told it as soon as it happened, before I even talked to him on air. I did a little show about it. And I talked about how I was sitting in a circle of protection with the two girls, with Paula and Gina. And then the two guys we were sitting in lotus flowers out watching the eclipse. And everything like it sounded like it died and then came to life. Like the nighttime came to life. We were like, holy shit. And it was dead silent. And we were on the Heart Lake in South Carolina, right, watching it. It was amazing. There's no obstruction whatsoever. And the two guys that were with us were sitting in squares. And we were like, yo, get up and get in the circles with us, homie. And they were going, go fuck yourself. Like they were just dicks. And I was like, dude, I will throw you in the fucking. Anyway, so they sat in there and they got fully affected. These fucking AI tentacles came out and started attacking everything right out of it. Looked like a portal and just tentacle. So Chris tells me I got taken by reptilians and that I've been off my game the whole time in the background. That's what he starts telling people. He starts saying on air, maybe. I don't know. But all I know is he invites me on the show 70 fucking thousand times. And then every time he talks to me, he's using my material back to back. And then I talk to him on Friday or Thursday, and then he's using it on the show Friday. And then Saturday comes and he already put the information out, because my show was on Saturday, into his. So other people had complained about this. If you notice, the cycle of people that I thought were like this with him, including myself, are all gone from back then. There's nobody that's still with that crew. As far as I know, there's one or two people, but the people that were close to him, you notice, have all left. All the tight ones had to go because there's some crazy shit going on. So you'd be rolling around talking about set all day and resetting things, and it's you reset, set. I told you, everyone here, that I was Horus on day one, but it's hard to believe, so I don't play with that. Now, if you say set and then Horus, now you know what the fuck happened. I say we wear masks for periods of time anyway, because I was up in the ship and he was up there, Chris. And I yelled at him and a few people. I kind of yelled at the people around me, like, who the fuck put me with this motherfucker? Like, I just came up here. I got to see him. I love him, though. See, he doesn't realize this. Like, this is why it hurt me personally so much. Like, I love him. I was a friend of his for a long time and a fan a little bit. You know, I'm not going to lie. If it wasn't for him, Fearless wouldn't be here. But that was so I could be under his control and his watch. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you got to let people fly. I don't like the information you're giving out, but you just gave the same information out. He's still, I don't know how he is now. I have not ever looked back into him. I was already a musician on my own. I don't know what makes people do that. And then I saw, when I was up on the ships with him, he was just contracted to be a certain way. And they were like, yo, you're going to love your enemy in the end, so cut it out. And I was hugging him. I was talking to him after that. I talked to everybody I didn't like and made up with them, including JCK, who was up, that was on the ship, though, not here in the physical. But it doesn't mean I have to come down here and listen to you or even agree with you on any level. They're like, it's hard to get through to people. I can't control you. You do have free will. So if you choose to just be the way you're being, and then this is what happened and that's what happened, there were other fractals of you in the now moment that's paying attention. So that version will rise. It's okay. Everyone gets to go through it and play the character they're going to play. If you choose to be like that, that's your fucking problem. And that's coming from their higher self. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I just love you. So I'm not fighting with anyone. I don't give a shit. Everyone could be like, Frank sucks all day. I don't care. I love all of you, because I wouldn't fucking do this if you weren't there. I would just do other things. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I would do. I don't even know what's going on anymore half the time. I have to look at everything and use fucking discernment and be like, look at this shit. And laugh. But here in my house, we've turned into little filth mouths, but it doesn't carry weight. It sounds like a release. So when you hear it, you're like, oh, did you just say that? And then you hear, yeah, now shut the fuck up. And you're like, oh, because it's not meant. Nothing here is meant for that. And then I see the Bill Burr thing comes up on Netflix. By the way, if you have not seen this and you're like over 40 and over, you need to see it because it's fucking funny. Bill Burr has his own show. It's a movie and it's really funny. And it coincided with everything that was going on here with the foul language and how people feel in real life. But you're really trying to be nice, but you don't also can't be so nice that it impedes on you and other people, and you can't be as so aggressive as it impedes on them. And so Rotten Tomatoes is like, yeah, that movie sucks 12% on the tomato meter. And then it's like 90% on the audience score because it's fucking awesome. I'm just saying, it's like a new breed of stuff. It's like, just fucking say it. No, you're not canceling anymore, anyone. I don't give a fuck unless the AI is doing it in the background at this point. I think the tide is turning and we're going to totally roll through into the new thing. It'll be done in waves. It doesn't happen all at once. And like I said, there's no silver bullet to any of this. So you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to figure it out. Oh, yes. Kali is ready to go. Rolla, thank you so much. Sending you positive vibes and oh, so much love. You know, it's weird. None of this was popping up before on my screen. So I just want to say I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so a week ago, right before all this happened, I went outside when Angela Miller was here and I did the last show. I claimed I'm done. I'm fucking done. I had to do it again. When you walk through a dark night of the soul, it's just for that round. You don't stop going through dark nights of the soul. It's like a sick you're spiraling back up. So on every rotation there's one. And you could have multiple ones. It's not one thing. We're so hung up on like the one shot cure, but that's not how this works. It's a process that you go through because you're densified and you have to reverse the process and go back up because you did it. You hit the bottom, boom, you do everything and we're coming back up the other way and we're ready to go. So you got to hang in there. We are some people from somewhere else. Start saying to yourself, I'm a starseed, but I'm having a human experience, but I am starseed. I am a warrior from the stars. I am not even from, I do this all the time. I'm not even from here. I got to come back down here and throw reptilians around and retake positions and get beat up and murdered over and over in lifetime of shit. What about the infinite mind? The mind increases, never ends. Torus field, sucks in information, spits out availability to open mind up for more information, to suck in that information and to bring it back around. That has nothing to do with the loops and cycles. That is a learning cycle, and you would see that in syllabuses in schools where you're like, oh, well, that's kind of, they all do math at the same time, shit like that, but it's obviously it's going to be different math and stuff. So you just infinitely grow into that. You're going to take your mind and realize that your mind, your heart, and your gut are actually one giant brain. They had to separate it to confuse you, and they put it in the different parts of the body, but they also had to make it bigger so you could fit source. God, capital G, in the body. That's you. That's the great mind-blowing fucking information. It's been you the whole time. Right? So, let's see. Hey, what up, Joe and Della? Okay, so Della sent me a whole bunch of stuff with the sun. I was looking at it. It was crazy. And then today I was outside. Wizard Joe's in the house. He's the crystal man. So if you need crystals, hit up Joe. If you need wand making, not crystals, but he's like he'll make you the wizard wand. Yeah, the sun was intense. It made me come in, and I said I'm ready for bed again, but I just slept 12 hours. I was dead. That's why I got circles under my eyes still. I need more coffee. I've been sitting here talking for hours. But Paula was down. I figured I could get away with doing this now because I have this old information and it's only days old and it's going to seem like months old tomorrow and the next day. Like the story is not going to matter because my story coincides with what's happening right now. So like things I've been saying, other people are hitting me up going, I'm going through this right now. Does that make sense? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going through the same shit. So we're cycling back out together. We're all doing it together. And now the veil is dropping. As you do the work, the veil just drops. And the work, once again, get back to it. Laughter, we all know it's hard, but you got to do something like, you got to look at it in positive situations. Like, well, at least I have a couple of people that always have no option. You got to look to the embetterment of it. So they'll say, well, everyone in my family's dying. Everyone in my family died too. Like, you acting like nobody in my family died. Right? What I do is I choose to celebrate them because I know they're there. I know they're right here. I spoke to my grandfather today. It's like he sits with me right next to me and he talks to me. And I'm like, this is great. Why are you not getting into another body? He's like, why? We're going to see you guys soon. We're going to see you guys soon. How's that going to happen? You're going to have a body in the place where you think you die, you go to, which is just 5D. And I'm like, oh, and yeah, so you're going to have the ability to do anything that we do as ghost, air quotes, because we're not ghosts. We're like light body beings. We're like God in the body, now without a body, but doing all the things you can just do anyway. You're going to take your flesh and walk into this realm. You're going to take it with you. I'm like, this is the greatest news. He's like, but you knew this. We talk about it all the time. And I'm like, yeah, man. I watch the Bill Gates pie in the face, and then I go travel to him spiritually, and I pie his face. And I say, it's funny that a guy like you thinks you can do what you were going to do and get away with it. And I just hit him with more cake, shove an etheric hose up his butt, and send in the cake batter, right? I know it sounds weird, but I don't care. The things that you were doing is crazy. Okay, Chris Torres, do you remember seeing a large pool area? Because I had a dream and it sounds like this. Guess what? There's a pool area inside and outside. It's like, I'm telling you, it's not really an amusement park. On top of this, it's like all of these things in one embedded in this area. That's beautiful. But I notice it's like where you would live there whenever it's time to go to work or go to class or something, it's here. So it's like you're playing it out here and that's the class. But when you're sleeping and you go there and you do things and there's all this other stuff happening there. It's very confusing to me as well. And I've talked about it. I've tried to map it. I talk about it with Paul all the time. She has her experiences. I have mine. And it's almost like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And now my dad's having them. I'm sure there's people all around me going through it as well. So it's a place that we all go to as well. I was like, yo, this place is really like, it reminded me of like being at Disney without the Disney behind it. Like it had everything. I was like, you get anything you want anywhere around here and you can travel to anywhere from here for real. And they're like, yep. And people are living in all these areas and these quarters, doing all these cool things. Yep. And yep. Let's see. So I'm glad everyone came out and listened for a bit. I hope this goes live. You know, like, subscribe, share, get the information out there. I know I'm a little hard toned for people. You can't have your kids around because I said motherfucker 36 times during it. I'm sorry. If I don't say that, you got to hear what the things I got to say to talk to people around here. It's a different world, right? I don't mean anything by it, and I smoke some weed and it's rough, but like, subscribe, share, put your notifications on. I'm going to be coming through in all different directions. And I appreciate if you check out the music. Sons of the Sun. You could just check us out at Sons of the Sun, or you can look right on my YouTube page right now. There's a Sons of the Sun lyrical playlist. Hey, if you like the music, like, subscribe, share. That's all we're asking here. An even exchange of beauty, right? So we embed the music with the high frequency futuristic nostalgia that we feel that we can send out to you from this level. And we will continue to do that and change our format to fit and flow like water in any shape and scenario that we have to. Okay. Madfinger, check this out. You notice all the comedians, because you heard Tom Segura they have a shaman they could just go drink ayahuasca with, right? They all know Aubrey Marcus. They all use the guy that he uses now. It's all becoming popular. Oh, I don't even have to go. They come to me. It sounds a lot like me. Right? Profound. It fixes, it helps, it reshapes. All of a sudden, you're not angry anymore. You're filled with love. And then you could be the personality and still be fucking funny as fuck. Okay, see, that's the funny part. You don't lose anything. You lose baggage, like physical, dense baggage goes over here. And then you understand it and have an awareness of it. And you're like, oh, okay, but move on in my life. Forgive and keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Come on, we got to get in position. Love and light, love and light. Don't forget the dark night. Stare into the eyes of the shadow. Let me look at you. What are you doing here? Monsters everywhere. You can't be here no more, bro. This ain't even fucking funny. Open the door. You go be anywhere you want. You got to get the fuck out of here. And all of a sudden you see your life changing, right? As you bring the spirit in. I love all of you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Check out IamWeAreFearless.com if you want a t-shirt. Support Sons of the Suns. We have the Fearless collection. We have the Sons of the Suns official merchandise there, the Fearless merchandise. If that's something you want to share in with us, I'm kind of pulling away from. We'll use the Fearless family group on Facebook, but we are being so restricted there that even posting in there prior to the show, it's like 3 people see it. So I can't have that kind of restriction. So if I just pop out live and figure out a new way as we go and what we decide to do, we just shift and move, open it up and expand it and stay connected to it the whole time, regardless, right? I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I'm sending light through the entire system. I am flipping over every stone and taking a look at what's under there and getting a basic awareness of the whole thing and the whole structure so I can back out of it, but understand it completely, so that I may maneuver through it with no problem. Remember to be fearless, and that the universe rewards bravery, right? That's so important. Yeah, that's it. Go have fun. This is the final round. As we get tighter into this, it's almost like, here's the message. Okay, like we're in a football huddle, putting out the message, and then we go, okay, ready, break. And your position in the play is what you decided to do, right? As long as we just keep moving, the magic will just keep happening. And I've talked about early in my career doing this, that when I said we're like a team, a football team taking the field against all the other teams, but we can play, our team could play every team at once and we win. Wait, and you're like, wait, but the game didn't start. It's like, no, you can't beat us. It's like if the Jets came out and had to play kindergartners that couldn't even wear equipment. There's no way you're winning. Even if Santa Claus came out, there's no fucking way you're winning. We'll just walk around you and there's nothing you can do about it. So at that level, you have no shot. So we're not participating. But we're arriving on the field to like kill the bullshit. And we're going to line up and get into position. And you're going to be like, what is happening? Right. And then you'd be like, I coming through with the force of source. Like what? Shout outs to everyone. I love you so much. All right. It's dinner time. Rock and roll. Most high vibrations. Sons of the sun. Oracle. Higher frequency. Yo, follow that guy right there. Follow him. That's the golden lantern right there. That's the man right there. That's the other man right there. All right. I'm sharing it around. All right. I love you guys so much. I got to go. And if you have questions, comments, hit me up. I'm around. And then I'll be going live a couple of different times, not for 3 hours. I want to like just do a couple of small ones, an hour here, an hour there, and then keep the connection live and direct. Have a great night. Universe Roars Bravery. See you next time. Eating the pudding. A bang.